Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Hey, welcome in to a Fast Break Friday edition of the Morning Rush. It's really going to be a mix of a fast break, football, and fastball because we got baseball to discuss. A final non-conference weekend series against McNeese State. No game today. We'll tell you more about that coming up. We got spring football. Guys and gals got eyes on this team yesterday. I watched plenty of practice video. I listened to Andrew Armstrong, Landon Jackson, also Spence yesterday talking with the Arkansas media, giving their thoughts on the first day. And then, of course, basketball concludes its regular season on the road in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The number one offense in the country, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Yes, they're even better at Kentucky in that category. They've stumbled a little bit as of late. They've lost 3 of 4, including 2 straight. Played some really good competition, but that is what we have for you this morning, plus a few other fun stories to get into as well.
Got some baseball news coming up that may not get your weekend started the way you wanted to. We'll tell you about that coming up as well. Hey, we're brought to you by Modular Orange, the place I was talking to someone just yesterday morning about their business. They got a brand new business, still hasn't put a website together. They said, hey, what's that place you're talking about? I need a website. Tell me about it. I said, well, it's $95 a month. They'll help you write it, design it. They'll do all the stuff you don't even think about. Who's going to host the website? Who's going to take care of the registrations? Who's going to take care of the security certificates? All the things you need to be a good functioning website. And then they're there month to month, day to day. Even if you need updates on a regular basis, they can do that for you. Staff changes, product changes. Need a new page. Need a page taken down. Theme changes. They do all that stuff included in the $95 a month. Go to modularorange.com, get the details, a lot of questions answered there. Then call the staff at 479-755-3043 right here in Fayetteville, 755-3043, or again, visit modularorange.com.
So I had to start with the bad news like you just referred to, but we might as well get this out there that it is a bad weekend if you have Arkansas baseball tickets for Saturday's game because they are only accepting the Friday tickets for the doubleheader. Don't know why they're doing this. Of course, they probably have good reasons. But Tommy, again, as the opener was supposed to be today, it's been moved to tomorrow at 12. There's going to be a 45-minute gap in between. I'm going to read this directly. Friday's tickets will allow access to both games of Saturday's doubleheader. Saturday's single-game tickets are no longer valid and can be exchanged for another game based on availability. I don't know when that game's going to be. My guess is they try and shove you in a midweek game, which we know the value there is not as much. But if you have Saturday tickets, sounds like you're out of luck unless you have another pathway to get into Baum Walker this weekend.
Well, and that's the reason you go to digital tickets is to make transitions like this work and make them easy. This has happened before. Generally, the day of tickets are the ones that are the ones that they honor, and the day before the game that was missed, they either refund single game sales or give you an option for another game somewhere down the line. But yeah, 70% chance of rain here in Northwest Arkansas today, but the weather for the weekend looks good. What they don't want to do is get into a situation where you start a game, you get Hagen Smith started, and then he only gets to go an inning or 2 or 3 because of the weather. That is not what you want to do. Saturday is supposed to be sunny, upper 50s for the high. Sunday, 61 degrees, and I'm not sure what McNeese State's travel arrangement is. I don't know where they're going from here, but that's always part of it too. Are they flying commercial? Are they flying charter? I would imagine McNeese State's on a bus, and they can probably leave whenever they need to leave, so you don't have a curfew on Sunday if something occurred there as well.
I think what's doesn't make a lot of sense to me is that I see this in the NCAA tournament. I see this in other sporting events, is you have a 45-minute to an hour gap in between certain games, and people exit the stadium and the new tickets come in. I mean, is this just the U of A's way of just being lazy in this regard? Because I would think that with all the technology we have today, the Friday tickets could still go to that first game, be accepted. They remove people from the stadium. 30 minutes later, they let them back in, or 15, whatever you have to do, and then you allow both parties, both Friday and Saturday, single-game ticket holders access to, even though the game time has been shifted at that point, to the stadium rather than going about it this way, where again, throw wrenches in people's schedule. I know that stadium only holds 13,000 people or whatever, so it's not going to be too much of a difficulty. But for some, as you mentioned before the show, this is their only game to go to all season potentially, and to take that away from them if they were planning on coming up Saturdays, it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason they have data or reasoning behind it, but I think baseball is the sport. Not just because of the number of games, but probably the percentage of the games is higher in baseball that you give your tickets to someone because you can't make them all, and there's not the urgency because of 30 some odd home games that you have over the course of a season. So McNeese State's not the opponent. LSU coming up at the end of the month, and some of the conference series are the ones you absolutely got to make. So imagine a lot of these did get handed out to friends, family, clients, whatever. So, I get where you're coming from. They have a reason for doing it. I imagine most of the people that have tickets because of the sold-out nature of the stadium, when they look at their data, they say, hey, the person that owns the Saturday tickets owns the Friday tickets, vice versa. I just think in baseball it's far less of an assumption that you're going to both games because that's probably not how it works. Yeah,
that is general. I would say it's not at the entire weekend. You're probably right where you do give up tickets and whatnot. But that's the baseball setup for this weekend. We'll tell you more about that coming up. I found myself fascinated with just the little video I watched yesterday of the Arkansas football program practicing. To see Bobby Petrino back in Razorback gear and on the practice field next to Sam Pittman, a sight that I don't think any of us ever in our wildest dreams expected to see. Taylor Green was quarterback 1 yesterday. Interesting tidbit. Malachi Singleton in the 2 slot, not Jacoby Criswell, so something to keep an eye on. They kind of rotate guys in and out. That's not out of the ordinary, but I did find that of all the things I saw yesterday, that was probably the most intriguing to me.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of people's attention is going to go is the quarterback spot. And I imagine they don't want Singleton to hit the portal right away and giving him a fair shot. And I imagine there's been a lot of conversation behind the scene. I wouldn't read too much into the rotation at this point, but not a surprise that Green was the first one to take snaps. All right, a lot to get to. Chuck's going to be along in about 30 minutes or so, and we'll pick his brain on a few things. And a big weekend coming up for the basketball team as they head to Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Hey, we're brought to you this morning by APAC Arcola, Standard Materials Group. They're in Northwest Arkansas. Also, Marion County Paving and other opportunities with Arcola and APAC in North Central Arkansas and Boone, Marion, and Baxter counties. You can check that out at jobs.crh.com. Licensed CDL drivers. They're looking for all kinds of people to join their team. If you've got quarry experience, if you've got experience with concrete or asphalt, they're looking for you. And generally, if you got any road construction or construction experience, building parking lots, that's what they do. A lot of things with aggregate, concrete, asphalt, those things are the things that they are best at. Paving and all those things that go along with it. Jobs.crh.com is the address. That's jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group, they are equal opportunity employers.
We're going to hear for some of those players coming up. Also going to tell you about some Kansas City Chiefs fans and a big fight announcement that was let known to the world yesterday. All that's coming up on a Fast Break Friday.
Just say, Alexa, play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas from TuneIn.
This is Clint Sterner, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Hudson Clark with his 5th career interception.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, full deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Spring is just around the corner, and Jelco Outdoors is ready with all of your spring fishing gear. Crappie, bass, catfish, Jelco has a great selection of rods, reels, and baits to help you fill that stringer. Spring turkey supplies are rolling in daily, and the firearms department is stocked up with ammo for outdoor shooting. Spring is almost here, so get outdoors and enjoy the spring season. Stop by Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith, for all your outdoor gear. Think spring, think Jelco Outdoors.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Hey, Wes.
Billy, hay is for horses.
I have an idea to bring in more customers.
What you got?
We yell on the radio, "Woo! Pig suey!"
We're going to call the hogs?
Yeah, we call them all in. "Woo! Pig suey! Come get your pizza at Jim's Razorback Pizza."
I'd rather not.
Don't you love the hogs?
Of course. But we can't call our customers hogs.
But they're hog fans, and our name is Jim's Razorback Pizza.
Billy, I love your enthusiasm. Look it, if you think we should do it, then let's do it.
Woo! Pig suey!
What about moo instead of woo? We use Wisconsin cheese.
Really? You and them dang cows. Woo! Pig suey!
Jim's Razorback Pizza. Blessed to serve you. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we have the biggest and best selection of premium pre-owned vehicles we've had in years. Many with low miles and those special features you're looking for, and each one road ready certified with warranty. Be sure to ask about the weekly specials that can save you up to $4,000. Road ready certified used cars and savings up to $4,000. 2 more reasons all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning, Tommy, and I had a complete brain lock.
Swinging along with the left field. That ball's going to go. It is gone. A grand slam for Vahiva Loy, and the Razorbacks lead it 4-2.
Subscribe to the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, and share.
Back here on the Morning Rush, got some football to discuss. By the way, that's the St. Elmo's Fire theme song coming in. Big C, have you seen that? Has that been assigned to you by halftime homework yet?
Not yet.
Okay, that is a movie you need to watch. Tommy, you've seen that one, right?
Been a long time, but I'm not sure I can give you a full book report on that one.
It's one of the best. Rob Lowe, McCarthy. It's got some, I think, Demi.
Back in Rob Lowe's wilder days.
Yeah, it was either Demi Moore or I get her and Jennifer Connelly mixed up, but it was fantastic. So
I don't. Demi Moore's hard to confuse with anybody.
Is that who it is then? I get those two confused. Is that her?
I think it was Demi Moore.
Okay,
yeah. It's been a while. That movie was what, 80? 85? I don't know. I have to look that up.
I know it's 80s.
Slept a few nights.
Part of that Brat Pack group. But, yeah, it's a great movie, so you need to get Big C to watch it at some point. Well, I watched a little Arkansas football highlights yesterday at practice. Of course, we don't have the spring game for a month or so. Don't have, I think it was 178 days yesterday, 2 days ago, like 70-some-odd days till the first game. But some audio we got, not just from Sam Pittman, as you heard, our open, but the players, and we'll kind of give you an insight to that coming up.
Have you been on the Bet Saracen app lately?
I looked this. I don't think they have the line yet for the Bama game. It'll come out later today, but
yeah.
I have.
I was on there looking for lines for some games and just stuff we talk about here on the show, and I noticed they kind of got a new look and little different navigation on some of the way that the things are laid out. So if you haven't checked it out in a while, maybe pull that up and the way the boxes are on there with the spreads and the money line and the total points, and there's some tabs for the Arkansas teams. And like right now, I'm looking at it. You got the basketball, and you've got a Western Illinois and UA Little Rock game on there, and they'll have that Arkansas game. Then you can click over on this tab up here, and it makes baseball really easy. And it doesn't have the numbers out, of course, or the lines out yet because of the delay, but you can click right over. So the Arkansas teams are really easy. So it's one of the reasons, that's just one of the many reasons that the Bet Saracen app is Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. In fact, about 7 out of $10 bet on a mobile app in our state go through Bet Saracen. So there's a reason why, and that's just one of the reasons why. So check that out. If you haven't downloaded it, do that. Set up your account and get ready to go with the Bet Saracen app. Details online at betsaracen.com, and some good videos you can watch on how to play and how to enjoy it even more. March Madness is around the corner. Don't go into March Madness without the Bet Saracen app.
So I know everyone wanted us to know about the quarterback, but it really doesn't matter if Taylor Green and Jacoby Criswell or Malachi Singleton are great because they don't have an offensive line in front of them. It's just going to be a disaster, as it was last year offensively. Here was what Landon Jackson, defensive end, probably your best defensive player, and Andrew Armstrong, probably your best wide receiver, had to say about those guys, and really in particular, Fernando Carmona Jr.
Yeah, I could tell with the offensive line this season, they're really trying to build a brotherhood. I mean, I really don't know how they were before, but I could tell this year that they're really making an emphasis to be more together. And in my opinion, I do feel like that's some of those transfers coming in kind of setting that tone. And, I mean, just from going against I was going against Fernando today, and I was telling them right over here, he's probably one of the best offensive linemen I've went up against in my college career.
They're more talkative in the huddle. Like, they're get here, like huddle up. Like, they're putting emphasis on what Coach Petrino is putting emphasis on, so Coach Petrino won't have to say that. So it's more like not one leader, but like the whole O-line is a leadership. So I feel like that's the biggest thing they could have did this winter.
So a couple changes, not just the player that you mentioned, Fernando Carmona Jr., brought in Addison Nichols, brought in Keyshawn Blackstock, Limber, and I guess laid them out, the guys NFL and doing that whole thing. You've got some guys back like Braun. Kudus has moved on the inside, and then the center position looks like it's going to be occupied by Nichols potentially. Think about adding Eric Mateos, taking over for Cody Kennedy, who went to Mississippi State. New offensive coordinator, of course, and Bobby Petrino taking over for half Enos, half Guyton. So there are a lot of changes, Tommy. But the offense, knock on wood, I mean, they just can't be worse than they were last year, right?
No, they are. You're going to win 4 games again, maybe. I think the schedule's harder coming up. I don't think we'd argue a lot about that, even though last year's wasn't easy. But you don't have Alabama, but, got the new SEC schedule. So, I mean, yeah, it's about offensive line. I wouldn't get too declarative about who's doing what on day one without pads. But you can start forming some ideas and opinions. I don't know that because someone trots out at the first in a practice one that that they're the starter, but and there's probably some that have jumped to some conclusions that probably aren't accurate at this point. But hey, it's a starting point, it's a reference point on where we're beginning in spring, and all these changes you noted are right. And I guess it's Bobby's initial opinion on the offensive side, at least at the skill positions.
And I would be shocked if Carmona Jr. didn't start at some point, probably at left tackle, but again, we'll have to wait and see. That's one I'm pretty locked in on. Like, if there was a bet, and I don't think that Bet Saracen, I don't think they can even legally do this. Maybe it's a better question for Neil Atkinson on halftime today, but like if we're betting on starter, quarterback position, Taylon Green, if you're betting on starting left tackle, it's going to be or on the offensive line at least, it'll be Fernando Carmona Jr. Other guys, a little unsure about or a little less iffy about, but in regards to what you were just talking about, I would bet on that point. Now, BG texted in this morning on the McLarty Daniel hotline. His bet is Arkansas is going to go 3-9. He says, don't drink the Kool-Aid, Ty. Well, B, I want to know what 3 wins you're thinking. Probably the non-conference wins, I'd say, and probably the loss to Oklahoma State and everyone others. I hope that that's not a situation we have to encounter this year. But again, you mentioned they lost a lot of pieces. The schedule is tougher. You're right. It's not a debate. It's tougher. Yes, Bama's not on your schedule, but you look who's coming in here. You look at where you have to go. They're just in your non-conference opponent. It's tougher than it was last year.
Yeah, and welcome to the SEC. I mean, it's nothing new. It's what we know. So, this is a do or die. I heard Coach saying there earlier in one of the clips you played that he plans to be the coach for a long time. He's the coach right now. 3 or 4 wins this year, and if that's all it totals, he probably won't be. And there will be a new regime. And, that's just the nature of this game. So everybody knows what the score is. Everybody knows what this season means. And, there just needs to be progress. I don't think that means he has to win 8 or 9 games, but I think you got to be bowl eligible by the end of this year. And probably a lot of, if you went and talked to 100 Razorback fans, I think that's kind of the baseline expectation. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not an if. If he goes 3-4, he's getting fired. If he gets 3 or 4 wins, there's no if. He's fired. And if he gets to a bowl game, he's not fired. That's all. I mean, that's the baseline for keeping your job next year. Make a bowl game. It's not about how close you get. It's not about close losses. They had close losses last year. They had plenty of them. Sam Pittman, unfortunately, in his tenure at Arkansas, has not fared well in close games. I think he's like 6-14 in one-score games. That is a terrible stat. So, again, they've been close. They haven't fared well. You've got to get over that hump. A bowl game would show fans at least, hey, there's a little sign of progress to this point.
Yeah, and it's going to start with the offensive line. That's where we began the conversation. I can assure you that the offensive line is going to be central to any part. Why would they, Chuck brought this up yesterday, and he's 100% accurate. Why were they bad last year? Well, in large part, it had to do with the offensive line play, and it just affects everything else. I think having Luke Haas for, hopefully a healthy Luke Haas all year will certainly be a change for this team to have another weapon. They just didn't have that many weapons on this team. All right, hey, we're brought to you by Pradco and the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We'll get to that and tell you more about that coming up.
All right, more of the Morning Rush. Chuck Barrett joins us on the other side right here on a Fast Break Friday.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
This is Tony Bua, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do some cold water bass fishing, you need to be using an Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. It's the best.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid.
The people that I know that have say it's worked very well.
Did see a few clips of Bobby Petrino and Sam Pittman on the practice field yesterday. Never thought I'd see Bobby Petrino back on that field in an Arkansas Razorback uniform, but never say never in 2024. We'll get a chance to hear what some of the players had to say about the position that hopefully Bobby Petrino helps out a good chunk this year. That is the quarterback position, as we welcome in Chuck in just a sec.
Hey, brought to you by the Bobby Garland Baby Shad, the #1 volume lure out of the 20 fishing brands, made by Pradco here in Arkansas. In fact, they're made by the millions. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad made by the millions in their Fort Smith plant. It's without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. You can fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float. You'll find it to be as productive as you do live bait. Find it at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. It's the Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Good morning, Chuck.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Man, it's Friday.
It's Friday.
No baseball today, unfortunately, because of the weather.
That's what I hear.
But we do have a lot going on this weekend with Arkansas football practice really beginning. You got basketball this weekend where you'll be in Coleman Coliseum, and then people will still be in Bob Walker Stadium. And I don't know if you guys watched it. I was not there yesterday, but I did watch a good 15, 20 minutes of just practice film, watching the guys are doing. Again, sometimes you make too much of what's going on, but I found myself pretty locked in yesterday just seeing Petrino back on that field.
It was a different look. I saw some of the video when it was over. Obviously, it was kind of, different. I don't want to go too far and use the word surreal. That wouldn't be accurate, but it was different to see Bobby Petrino back out there. There's no question about it. And I think that for fans yesterday around Arkansas, when they looked at the practice video, that's what they looked at. Maybe they got to the players. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe they looked at Coach Pittman. Maybe. But I think that, that was a scene for Razorback fans that, as you said a minute ago, Ty, I don't think people thought they would see again.
Well, what was the fan? I mean, not the media, and you do a good job of separating this. Sometimes things become more of a media story than a fan story. Is the fan most interested in that and how that's going to play out, or who's going to be the quarterback? Well, I wonder what it's our job to figure out the pulse of the fan base is. I wonder what interests them right now after a practice or two.
Well, I think it's different for different people. If you're one of those fans that, you want to know every position and you worry during the day about what's going to happen at this spot or that spot, or at least you wonder about it. I think for them, who the quarterback's going to be is probably the #1 question. But I do think for the average everyday Arkansan who loves the Razorbacks, who may or may not know who the left tackle is, who may or may not care, I think Bobby Petrino is going to be the story for a little while. Now, once we get into the games in the fall, they're going to take over. And if we win, it's going to be because of him in a lot of people's minds. And if we lose, it's not going to be his fault in a lot of people's minds. And, I'll look back to when Coach Pittman hired him. That was one of the things, frankly, that I thought was most remarkable about it. And I'm not surprised because Pittman's not a big ego guy. But a lot of head coaches wouldn't have done that.
Nope.
In fact, 9 out of 10 head coaches wouldn't have done that. But as he said in his press conference earlier in the week, he just wants to win games. And when he says that, I believe him because I've been around him and I know it's true.
Let's, we all understand the reason why. He'd like to keep his job. He'd like to end his legacy at Arkansas in a
but he's
in a way
a competitor.
I get.
We think about that. He's already rich, Tommy. He's already rich. If he gets fired today, everything's fine. He's a competitor. He wants to win. He wants to win for all the people in that building.
I get that, but when you do this for 30 years, you don't want your last act being getting fired.
Oh, so I'm sure that's true too. Yeah,
I think that's probably more motivating than the money and keeping your job. Keeping your job means you can leave possibly on your own terms, or at least not being ushered out the door after a 3 or 4 win season. I think that's important to Sam Pittman more than money.
I think it's more important than money. Yes, I do agree with that. But I do think, and I've been around him enough to know, his biggest concern is the people in the building. Because, as I say, if Sam Pittman's fired tonight, life's great. If Sam Pittman's fired tonight, the young staffer, his life's not great. His life's terrible. And I think those are the people that a good head coach, a good leader in any business, that's who they work for. That's what motivates them. And I think that's what motivates him. I know that's what motivates him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, You say life's good. I was driving across the bridge over Lake Hamilton yesterday. The water level looked a little low, so it may be a few days before you get the boat in the water. So
that's where Jamie, he was telling Paul Feinbaum, that's where Jamie just came from. You bring up Lake Hamilton and the big.
I'm in Hot Springs now.
Yeah, the big Razorback he's got out front. Another, I mean, he wants to. I mean, you think about him. I mean, I've got friends that have lake houses on there, and they've seen him driving by, and he's not getting the finger when he's driving by. He's getting waves. You don't want it. You want to end on good terms. You want people to respect you when you're driving by that boat and say, "Hey, coach. Hey, guys." 10 years later, not now because he's working.
There's no doubt about it. You want life after your career, and he made a decision a long time ago that he wanted to retire in Arkansas, that he wanted to be down on that lake, and anybody down there understands that. And you want to be able to, as you say, Ty, you're exactly right. You want to be in a spot to enjoy your retirement. And more than anything, you want your family, in his case, his wife Jamie, to be able to enjoy it. If you're a coach, criticism really doesn't bother you all that much.
Yeah, it's more, and I was going to say that because I remember it was funny, and Tommy taught me this when I first got in. It initially kind of affected me, but now it just kind of goes off the way. So my dad sometimes will see comments made towards me, and he gets offended. I'm like, Dad, who gives a you know what? Like, who cares? And coaches are kind of like that. It doesn't. They've done it. You mentioned Pittman's track record of 30+ years, Tommy. He's heard everything, every criticism, every bashing, everything. Yeah. It doesn't affect him. But when he got ticked off last year, and I remember him specifically citing this, it's like they came at Jamie. It's like it's one thing to come at me, I'm a grown up, but you would come at my wife or you come at other people in my family. That's when you get ticked off. So I get where you're coming from there.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out over the next few weeks, kind of, or be able to more solidly form opinions about different groups. Chuck, you made the point yesterday. If this thing's going to go to the next level from last year, and the only way to go is up, really, it's the offensive line. I mean, you can watch a video put out by the U of A. You could be at practice. You can go to some of these Saturdays that are open, but until we get a few more practices in and there's pads on and we're playing real football, we're I think it's dangerous to form very many solid opinions.
You're right, and it's interesting as we talk. I'll go back to what we began this discussion with about who's paying attention to what. When you watch practice, when you make a statement about the offensive line, you're exactly right. I talked about it yesterday. Those are the things we pay attention to. I do think for most people out there, though, just seeing them out there on the practice field, seeing Petrino, I think that's what most people focus on right now. I think everybody understands that, at least from what we see as fans, there's not a win or a loss in the spring. Now, for coaches and players, it's different, but because they're grading film every day. But for us, there's not a win or a loss. And I think most people are just, football's back, at least for a couple of weeks. It'll dominate the discussion, or at least be a big part of the discussion. And then it'll die again until we start talking about it after baseball.
Wyatt jokingly texted in here on the McLarty Daniel hotline after watching the 10 minutes of practice videos. He thinks this team is at least a 10-win season at this point in time. Great text, Wyatt, here this morning. We needed some comedy.
That's pretty good.
But we've gotten said Petrino probably 15 times already this morning, so we might as well play a sound bite. Andrew Armstrong was pretty emphatic about what Petrino's done already.
Just go. Like, just do everything, fast. Make sure you where you are. Make sure you got your plays down. Make sure you're in the playbook. He won't yell at you as much as you think he does. He won't yell. He'll just make sure you got the plays going, things like that. So I feel like because Petrino has came in and done an absolute astonishing job with us as helping us learn the plays and things like that.
Let me say something about what he just said right there. He doesn't yell at you like people maybe think he does. Coordinators are the cerebral guys. They're the chess masters. They're the ones that are putting it all together. It's your head coach and sometimes your position coach that are the big screamers. If you've got a coordinator that can't be a cerebral football guy, that just completely relies on emotion, I don't know that that's, and I'm not saying completely relies, but relies a lot on emotion. I don't know that that's the equation. And let me tell you something. The good ones, they can break it down on paper in a way that'll make your head spin. And I think he's one of those guys. And so I would imagine his approach now. Look, I think he's demanding. I'm sure he's demanding. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's
certain.
there's some getting on people every once in a while.
Nah.
But I don't think it's like it was. Now I'm not there. But my strong suspicion is, having been around football teams, that that's not the way it is.
You mentioned the head coach, and a lot of times, like you said, and this isn't just a football thing, the assistants are there to console, kind of calm you down a little bit. The head coach will rip you a new one. And when you transition to that role, and he's gotten older, like some guys get a little more rigid at an older age. Some guys kind of lighten up a little bit. And you mentioned his role change. I mean, there will be some yelling. Don't mistake yourself. He is going to chew someone out at some point this offseason, chew a couple people out. But it's probably going to not be as numerous as it was. I do think, and I can't remember who I was talking to about this week, I think Petrino had an impact getting these practices open on Saturday. Because if you remember, they're pretty open back when he was here. And I think he was encouraged, along with probably Sam's communication staff, that, hey, we need to get some positive buzz heading into this fall, whether it's going to work or not, whether the team's going to be good or not. But I think Petrino might have had an effect on getting this thing open for fans to see on Saturdays.
Maybe the hiring of Petrino. I don't think Petrino himself had anything to do with this.
I'd agree. I mean, I think we have to be careful when trying to say, well, here's what happened 15 years ago, and that's why it's happening now. I just, I asked you the question yesterday, Chuck, are you a different person today than you were 15 years ago? Is your personality a little different? Is your habits, your mood, the way you do? Of course, we all are. You go through different seasons and phases of life, and that's professionally, that's personally, that's your family, that's a lot of things. So to assume Bobby Petrino's any different and, boy, he's going to just be a repeat of when he was the head coach, that's not right.
Well, I can tell you that still to this day, and it certainly was this way when he was the head coach, I shake my head and smile a lot of times, and I don't mean this in a bad way, when people start telling me what Bobby Petrino's like, or start talking about what Bobby Petrino's doing or saying or how he thinks, because that's a different breed of cat.
Yeah.
But he's a football coach, and I think some of this stuff's, it's interesting, but I think fans tend to focus on the yelling and the emotion and all that stuff. I don't think that's what makes a great offensive coordinator, and I think he knows that.
And you're right. Think about our audience, though, who it's predominantly you guys in 30, 40, 50, 60 and above, which their high school experience, their junior high experience was getting chewed out, getting yelled at, the old school ball coach. You have some listeners that are my age and younger. That's fine, but that's not as traditional. So when they see or hear about that and they remember, but they kind of liken it back to their days. And that's just how some guys like it. They like it seeing guys getting chewed out or yelled at, and Petrino has that. And I think it's a little, when it comes to Sam Pittman, people sometimes were like, yeah, Sam doesn't do that. Sam does that. You just don't see it as much because it hasn't been, again, broadcasted publicly because they haven't been to practice.
We mistake yelling and showing passion and getting on a ref as, well, that guy cares more. Well, that's just,
If that was the criteria, Will Muschamp would be the greatest coach in the history of football.
Thank you.
I mean, come on.
I mean, yelling doesn't win games. But we think that guy really cares. Look at the way he's getting that player.
That'll get you a top job. I mean, the truth of the matter is, and the guy I just named may be one of those guys that you cite. That sort of activity on the sidelines will get you a head coaching job. But it's not what's going to keep you a head coach.
No, there's other.
I mean, you can put on a show over there if you want, but emotion does not. Being able to yell and scream and seemingly give fans the pound of flesh that they wish they could go get, that doesn't make you a good coach.
I still love that video when Muschamp and Saban's head coach of LSU, Muschamp's the DC back in like 2003, and they are just giving it to some defensive player, and that video is just stuck in my brain just from 20-something years ago. And like you said, Muschamp, good defensive coordinator, not exactly head coaching material at Florida and South Carolina.
Hey, guys, I don't know what you're doing this afternoon, but from 3 to 6 and again from 9 to close, TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is having happy hour. 3 hours isn't enough. They got to do it again from 9 o'clock to close. Half-price drinks and $5 appetizers. This includes not just these, but more. Their potato skins, their spinach dip, the cheese sticks, the pot stickers are incredibly good at TGI Fridays. They got these new steakhouse meatballs that are really good. So you can get all those for $5, and then all the drinks are half price during happy hour. They do it twice a day, Monday through Friday from 3 to 6, 9 to close as well. And on Mondays, they do 50-cent wings. So it's all at TGI Fridays in Fort Smith. It's at 540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, right there behind the new Chipotle and Starbucks and near the Hampton Inn. So if you're familiar with the area, you know exactly where it's at. That's TGI Fridays for happy hour, 3 to 6 and 9 to close.
Let's talk to Brent, who's in Searcy this morning on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. What's up, Brent?
What's going on, Tommy and Chuck?
Brent, did they run you out of Stuttgart? Is that what happened?
Chuck, I left with the best reputation ever.
Okay. All right. You didn't have to sneak out in the middle of the night or anything?
No. Hey, Chuck, you've known me a long time, right?
I have.
Hey, and you know my sister runs me, right?
Right.
My sister, she told me like last year. She said your neighborhood's getting too rough. You're building a house in Searcy. I said, I don't know about that. She said, I do. You can afford it. Don't worry about it. So she designed me a house. I've been here for about a month and a half. I love it. Big Zach Clark's my main man in Searcy. You know, he's the head coach of Searcy Lions. And hey, Chuck, I want to tell you this. I got Phil mad at me yesterday, Elson, because I said, Phil, are you feeling pressure now that Chuck had to call a few baseball games for you? He did a really good job. That got Phil all discombobulated.
Well, I don't know why. I mean, no. That look, Phil's the one. I was the fill-in guy. Phil's the one that does.
But you were great. Now
well,
let me
maybe
go to my point.
For a fill-in guy, maybe not bad, but that's
I think
Phil's
you're the best.
deal.
I think you're the best college baseball fill-in guy in the nation.
Let me just tell you, there's a lot going on in there that Phil knows that I don't. Believe me, it's a lot different than it used to be.
Now, let me say what I need to say. We need to make a change with our Lady Razorback basketball team. Holy mackerel. Mike Neighbors has to go. I mean, we lost our last 3 games by almost 100 points. That is unacceptable behavior. That is unacceptable. I don't know what's going to happen, but Hunter Yurchek's got to wake up and smell the coffee. He needs to make a change because the only program that's doing good for the Razorback and the ones that is baseball. We had a terrible year in football. Not the basketball year we expected. Hunter Yurchek needs to wake up and smell the coffee that a change needs to be made in the women's basketball program.
Yeah. Softball's been good. Volleyball's been good, too.
Football's been so bad, we got to fire the women's basketball coach. Yeah. Somebody's got to pay for this now.
Yeah.
It's like Kentucky did something, Brent.
I hear you, Brent. I know a lot of people are upset about the way it ended. I know they are. I watched it last night. It was not pretty. I don't keep up with it enough to sit here and say he's doing a great job, he's doing a bad job. Clearly the results this year have not been what they wanted. And I'm sure everybody's going to look at that situation real hard. But for me to sit here, not being around it, for me to say somebody's got to go or somebody's got to stay, somebody should stay, I'm not really qualified to do that, I got to admit.
I haven't watched a full game of that team this season, so I'm in that same camp. If some people think that's your prerogative, but I'm kind of in that same. In regards to, appreciate.
Let's find out what Petrino thinks. Yeah. I think that's what we should do.
Well, it's kind of like the whole hey, Kentucky.
Maybe he can go there and yell at somebody.
Well, now having said all this, part of your job, one of the realities of being a coach/marketer right now is people should know how you're doing. People should have opinions on your team. People should be able to say, well, they're doing this or they're not doing that. That's what you want. You want people paying attention. So that is part of your job as a coach / marketer. In women's basketball, that's just one of the realities. And so, again, I think they'll take a good, hard look at this. But what they'll decide, I don't know. And I don't know what's best.
Yeah, in terms of your campus sports-wise, all right, 3 of your 4 top dog sports, women's basketball, men's basketball, and football have sucked. Your baseball team's good, right? Top 5. But the 3 of the 4 that mean the most to you have not been good. You got a great softball team. You've got a good men and women's golf team. You've got a good track and field program. I mean, you got a lot of ancillary sports that are having a lot of success in Fayetteville. But the ones you care about the most, the ones you donate to, the ones you pay tickets to, the ones that you invest your time and all that stuff have not been good, with the exception of the baseball program. It's just, again, the others fall in different categories because we don't invest the same amount of time in those because they're just not as big of a deal in terms of the popularity of the sport. I'm not going to say they're lesser of sports, but they're just not as big of a deal to our audience in that sense, Brent. But I get where you're coming from for that situation. Kind of went all over the yard with Brent there, as we usually do here on a Fast Break Friday. We do have basketball to look forward to tomorrow, Chuck. You're in Coleman Coliseum. This Alabama team, we'll talk more about what Muss had to say about it. They've lost 3 of 4, 2 straight. This is the best offense. As crazy as Kentucky is offensively, Bama's better statistically. And if you let Estrada and really Sears get going tomorrow, that's probably not going to bode well in Coleman.
They've got a lot of ways to score. They really do. And the thing that I thought Arkansas did against Kentucky was they answered. Kentucky had a lot of ways to score too. And when Kentucky struck a blow, Arkansas struck one back. And I think that's the way you have to play a game like this. The idea that, oh, hey, we're going to go in and shut Alabama down in Coleman Coliseum. No, you're not. No, you're not. You are going to go in there, hopefully, and slow some guys down a little bit, keeping a guy that scores 22, maybe holding him below that average, taking their best player and, maybe having him score 6 or 8 below what he normally does. But the idea that you're going to come in there and just shut down Alabama, that's not going to happen. When they score, when they go on a run, you've got to score and go on a run too. That's what they did.
Might be in store for another Kentucky-Arkansas type of game where you got to score a lot of points to keep up with these guys, Tommy.
Yeah. Shut them down. They only scored 92.
Yeah, right.
That might be what shutting them down looks like. Hey, brought to you by I'm half joking, but I'm mostly serious. Hey, brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Always a great selection. If you drive by Wheels when you're going down 412, maybe towards Siloam, you can't help but notice the selection and the number of units they have on the lot. They got Grand Design, they got Forest River, they got Brinkley. But, behind all that and inside that building is a great people. And that's why you want to buy Wheels RV. Top-notch service department. Lee J and Chris treat you with the respect and the love that you're looking for. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Home of the lifetime warranty on every new RV.
Get ready for a new year of work with limited time savings on Bobcat equipment at Bobcat of Northwest Arkansas and Rogers. Get as low as 0% for 72 months on a Bobcat compact tractor, or choose a free front-end loader when you buy with cash. Special offers are also available on Bobcat zero-turn mowers with financing as low as 0% for 48 months, or rebates up to $900 on select models. Call Bobcat of Northwest Arkansas or come by to get these great deals. Hurry, these offers end March 31st. Some exclusions apply.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do some cold water bass fishing, you need to be using an Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. It's the best lure for duplicating a small school of shad and can be worked from the top of the water column to the bottom. Whether you're trying to win a bass tournament or whoop up on a bunch of white bass and stripers, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. will catch them. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Umbrella Flash Mob Jr.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is The Morning Rush.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith. Perhaps the world.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we have the biggest and best selection of premium pre-owned vehicles we've had in years. Many with low miles and those special features you're looking for, and each one road ready certified with warranty. Be sure to ask about the weekly specials that can save you up to $4,000. Road ready certified used cars and savings up to $4,000. Two more reasons all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything. Service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. They service commercial and residential lawns for weed management and fertilization for a lush, healthy lawn. Need bush hogging? They do that too. A Cut Above also offers tree and limb removal. Don't forget hauling and dumpster rental as well. More than just a mowing service, they're A Cut Above. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. Lawn, landscaping, power washing, stump grinding, leaf removal, mulching, flea tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, showers, a chance of thunderstorms. Our temperatures actually falling out of the 60s across the north. We should be in the upper 60s further south. Showers and thunderstorms hanging on tonight. Overnight lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. And then sunny and cooler weather in place for Saturday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your morning.
ESPN 95.3.
I don't think you can block out everything. I mean, you try to talk to your players about blocking out this, that, and the other, and obviously you can't talk the talk and not walk the walk, but it's hard, you know. I'm the head coach at Arkansas today, and I'm going to be the head coach, in my opinion, for a long time here. I just got to get it turned around. I believe that we can do it together. We did it in much worse circumstances when we got in here than where we're at now.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studio. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
And we welcome you back to hour number 2 here on a Fast Break Friday edition of the Morning Rush. So it's kind of pseudo fastball, fast break, and football. As you heard Sam Pittman there talking about the pressure of the upcoming season. I think he's right. They walked into a worse situation when he first got here, when Chad Morris did what he did, and Sam Pittman and company at least got to 3 wins in the first season. SEC wins, by the way. So we'll talk more Arkansas football coming up. We got Scott Tabor coming up in 7:20. But a fight announcement came out yesterday that I think people have an opinion on. The great Mike Tyson is going to be included, and we will talk about that coming up here in hour 2, Tommy.
Yeah, and if you haven't downloaded the new Hit That Line Now app, go to the Apple App Store, Google Play Store. If you're watching on our app now or online on Twitter, on Facebook or YouTube, there's some instructions there at the bottom, kind of crawling across right below Chuck's superimposed head there, right below it. You'll see it. So be sure to get that Hit That Line Now app. It's easy to listen, easy to watch. All the podcasts, including Chuck, the Give Me the Hogs Chuck podcast on there. So get that on your phone. It brings everything into one place for you. You're going to love it. It's the Hit That Line Now app.
So Mike Tyson is going to fight Jake Paul. I think that 99% of you know who Mike Tyson is. I think about 1% of you know who Jake Paul is. Jake Paul is this internet sensation. He's a classic DB. Him and his brother have done these social media shows, and I hope he gets knocked out on July the 20th. Guys, Jerry Jones is going to have it in AT&T Stadium on, again, July the 20th. It's going to be on Netflix Live. Mike Tyson is going to be 58 years old at that point. Jake Paul is going to be 27, so quite an age gap. You've got one guy that, again, has been known for being a ferocious fighter for a number of years, and then this other guy that's kind of gotten into it as of late. Hasn't lost yet, but I thought this was a peculiar announcement, but one that you get to see Tyson back in the ring this upcoming summer.
Well, he may be 58, but I wouldn't want to mess with him, and I don't think most of our audience would. And as far as dominant athletes, late 80s, early 90s, Chuck, I mean, I don't have a lot of the Muhammad Ali other than what I've just watched. I'm just not old enough. But, you know, I think Mike Tyson was more dominant. He maybe didn't have the competition, but there was no more dominant athlete in any sport in my childhood than what Mike Tyson did for about a 5 or 6 year period.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. But that does not make me take this event seriously.
No.
Yes, Mike Tyson in the 80s was as dominant a fighter. I mean, it was like you'd watch him on TV, and it'd like, ooh, that's a bad man right there. I remember the night Buster Douglas beat him, and it was like huge Alabama losing in football. I mean, it just it was just unthinkable. But there is a sucker born every minute, and that's why you put events like this on. Because those suckers will either buy a pay-per-view subscription for a night, or they'll, even more foolishly, buy a ticket, get in their car, and go. So, hey, more power to them. Again, never Never overestimate the intelligence of some people, because anybody that buys a ticket for that is a sucker.
I thought you'd give Jerry a call, and that me, you, and Tommy, and the rest of the ESPN Arkansas crew would head down to Dallas to go watch the event.
Well, you can go. I mean, you can go. I'm not going.
It's just not going to be worth your time. It sounds like at this point. I don't know. I don't know how much those tickets are going to be. I would guess.
Can we get on that golf course you played down that? Now we might be in.
Cowboys
Me and Chuck
Club.
can get on that. Yeah, me and Chuck can play the Cowboys Club. Maybe we'll entertain it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. They had the big star in the middle to this point, but yeah, that would definitely be probably more.
This is a publicity stunt. That's all this is. It's
I
a
figured
publicity stunt and a cash grab.
I'm not gonna lie. I figured the opinion that you guys would have. I thought y'all would be excited about this. I was severely wrong. I thought you'd like to see.
Really?
Mike Tyson coming back for a fight. I just
know your coworkers, man. Know your coworkers.
I guess.
Well, dude, he's nearly 60. I mean, this isn't the Mike Tyson we know and appreciate and fear. Honestly, was the one from 30 years ago, maybe longer. This is Mike Tyson needs some money, and whoever this other guy.
This is an aging man who's broke.
Yeah,
that's what this is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's just tell it like it is. This is an aging guy who's broke, at least by the standards he grew accustomed to living.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, I thought that would generate some more excitement from you two, but I was severely see. Like to me, for example, if Michael Jordan, and I don't know have his age off the top of my head, if MJ
he's about that age, he's in his early, right at 60, I believe.
If MJ was like, you know what, me and LeBron or me and Giannis are gonna play 1-on-1 in this event, and it costs this much to rent or this much, I'd buy it. I would.
Why?
Because it's Michael Jordan. And again, Mike Tyson is not Muhammad Ali in terms of the boxing spirit, but you guys, you talked about it.
You're too young to remember when Mike Tyson was not viewed as the humorous fellow that he is right now. I mean, there was no hangover back then. This guy was in prison. This guy went to prison.
And then got face tattoos after prison.
Yeah. I mean, Mike Tyson's public image was not anything like what it is now.
It wasn't good.
When I was, this is nothing. This is nothing. And again, if somebody wants to buy a ticket, then
they're a sucker.
More
power to
fool and
them.
his money or soon party.
Yeah,
that's the old saying.
Couple texts here on the McLarty Daniel hotline. Michael in Cave Springs saying that Jake Paul is a joke to the sport of boxing. I hope Tyson cleans his clock. Justin texts in saying that Tyson is going to beat the tar out of that kid. Go back to making YouTube videos, you bum. Ozark Bob says they should challenge Mike Tyson to a spelling contest. And then Tyler Greenwood said he had a thing for ears back in the day. I do know that highlight, Tyler. I have at least seen that all these years later, which I would guess that is.
Well, it wasn't just a highlight. I mean, it was for a lot of people the defining moment of his career. And frankly, Ty, I don't mean this like it's. You're too young to remember. The only thing you remember is Mike Tyson from The Hangover on. That's what you remember. The guy before that,
not that.
There's nothing charming about that. There's nothing charming about that. This is a joke. I mean, Mike Tyson against this kid, this is a joke.
Yeah. Who has the deeper vocabulary and better mastery of the English language, Mike Tyson or Ty Richardson?
Tyson. Probably, for being honest, that would be. I haven't competed in the spelling bee since I was in the second grade, but that would at least be a stiff competition to see us go at each other on that side of things. But that is going to be in Jerry's house again this upcoming July the 20th. I would guess Jerry Jones is going to be in attendance.
I can't believe we've even talked about this.
Yeah. Hey, springtime's around the corner, Chuck. Some people are going to be thinking about whether they should list their home or whether they want to buy that dream home around the corner. The pros at Weichert can help you make those decisions.
Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, they were my partners, and that's the reason I recommend them, because it went well. If it hadn't gone well, I wouldn't recommend them. But it did every step of the way, from the first time I bought a home to selling it and buying again and going through that process. And, it's the most money that I ever spent, and I think for most people it's probably going to be the most money you ever spend. And so you want somebody on your side of the table who's there with you. And I mean throughout the whole process, answering all your questions, keeping the line of communication open. But more than anything, understanding, listening, exactly what you're looking for, understanding what you're looking for as a seller, and then making that happen. That was my experience with them, and I think that'll be your experience as well. Ultimately, they're going to get you from contract to close. That's what they do better than anybody, and that's really, in my mind, what makes them the pros they are. But they've got an office. In fact, they've got offices in Northwest Arkansas.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply. Guys, let's talk. When I turned 40, I was feeling burnt out, unsatisfied with my marriage and career. I couldn't recognize the man I'd become. Honestly, I thought I would never be the same man again. Then I figured out I had lower testosterone and found Nugenix Total T. It changed everything. After 1 month, I rediscovered the man I know I am. That guy from my youth. I was hitting the gym, feeling passion in my marriage, feeling more energetic at work. Nugenix Total T includes Testofen, a patented ingredient clinically shown to boost free and total testosterone. And right now, you can get a complimentary bottle and try Total T for yourself. Just send a text. Text CASH to 369-369 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone-boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text CASH to 369-369. That's CASH to 369-369. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is the Morning Rush.
Kevin drives the tee and throws it down with one.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Diamond Center is proud to present our inaugural Whiskey and Watches event. Now is your chance to get your hands on that timeless timepiece you've been dreaming of. Between now and Thursday, April 25th, in our Fort Smith store, call or stop by to pre-order your watch. Then join us on Thursday, April 25th for a night of celebration featuring rare whiskeys, cigars, and luxury watches. This is your opportunity to add that watch that you've always had an eye on to your collection. For more information or to pre-order your watch today, give us a call. The Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
Subiaco and Scranton, if you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco and Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time, every time.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
The paint store in Van Buren is still the place to go to when doing the job right really matters. Our unique line of Richards paint products was chosen by me to perform for you. This is Sue, and my 35 years of experience ensures you get the right paint and the right color. That's important to you and me. Thank you for your support. Come see what I'm talking about. 1414 Fayetteville Road, the paint store, Van Buren.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess. I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The corporal will wait for an answer.
So we got a chance to hear from some Arkansas football players yesterday. Landon Jackson, Andrew Armstrong, Brad Spence. And during the course of the conversation, heard a few cliches.
I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Both sides, I felt like we're flying around, going full speed, looking good.
Everything just feels smooth. Like everything feels right. Like with the O-line, with the receivers, the quarterbacks, it's a battle with everybody. Like the O-line is just look beautiful. Like, you know, it looked beautiful right now. So I love the way everybody came to work. Throughout the winter workouts, you know, everybody was bought in to the team. So got this thing called Embrace the Hog. So I feel like that's what everybody's doing right now.
I like our offense, so I'm pretty confident in the Razorbacks this year.
Shared about 10 of them there. The cliches that will be said, not just by the players, but the coaches in these remaining weeks of spring balls. Guys, what is your favorite, and gals too, on your Morning Rush Daily Question, your favorite spring practice and off-season cliche? Mine is brotherhood and bought in. Those two. That just it cracks me up every time I hear that. If you played a drinking game, you'd be dead because you take 150 shots by the end of spring practice with the amount of time that's said during the course of the spring lead up to the spring game. Guys, what is y'all been doing this longer than me? What is the one that sticks out to you the most?
You know, the one I hadn't heard, and it's not really a cliche, but there's usually something said about how they've had their best offseason ever. How off-season conditioning has been better this year than maybe in the history of history. And so usually I don't think I've heard Sam say that, although he did give some credit to Ben Souders. But normally, particularly when there's transition, it's been the best off-season ever. So,
well, I think a lot of the things that you hear every year do have to do with the off-season. You know, yeah. The time that they spent together in the weight room. But, it's really – it's not so much a cliche, but that's just kind of always what you hear, yes.
Iron sharpens iron. Text out of the 501.
There's a good one.
Bigger, stronger, faster from JP.
Bigger, stronger, faster is always in there. That's a good one.
It's like the especially when you have a new strength and conditioning coach, and Souders is entering his second season, so he's not new. But I do remember when Jamil Walker was let go and he came in, it was like,
Souders was an All-American last year.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, this guy's doing, and it's like, yeah, that happens with any time.
Well, here's the thing: when a guy gets fired, if you come in that first year and do exactly the opposite of everything that person did, you're going to be initially popular. That's just kind of how it works.
It just keeps on going at that point when it comes to those initial guys. Still getting some more responses to this, talking about these cliches. I think when it's again, you guys are coached to say certain things to not just during the course of a season, but that. And so a lot of times you have these coaching cliches and you have these player cliches that are typically said because that's kind of what they've been coached to do when it comes to talking with the media. That's why it's just such a regurgitation a lot of times when you ask players and coaches questions.
Well, you brought Mike Tyson up, though, in the last segment, so I'll just use one of his cliches. Everybody's got a plan till they get hit in the mouth. And and you can talk all you want in spring ball, and spring ball matters. I'm not saying it's meaningless, but none of it matters till you get hit in the mouth in September, and that's what it's all about.
It fits the personnel. It's another text from JT. We really have the right personnel this year. Talking about your teammates or the coaches talking about their current team. But you will hear more of them. Again, we're going to hear from Sam Pittman a little later on today, and then we'll hear from more players. I did there was about 16 or so minutes of Andrew Armstrong, Landon Jackson, Brad Spence, and I enjoyed listening to some of them. I mean, you got to be excited about Landon Jackson being back because he's going to be the anchor of that defense.
Here's the thing you got to remember, though. It wouldn't become a cliche if there wasn't some element of truth to it. We wouldn't keep saying it over and over and over again if there wasn't some element there that sticks over the years.
Yep. That's inside every cliche is a kernel of truth. All right, that's
Maybe
your morning.
Small kernel, but
a small kernel,
a kernel nevertheless.
A popcorn kernel, but
that's
it
right.
is a kernel of truth. That's your Morning Rush Daily Question. It is brought to you by Red River Dodge in Heber Springs. They are Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Let's talk to former Razorback pitcher Scott Tabor on the Morning Rush. Our conversation with Scott is brought to you by Alumni Hall, your ultimate Razorback shopping experience. Located next to Whole Foods in Fayetteville or shop alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Razorback fans shop.
Go crazy at Bo Walker! Go nuts!
So, Scott, we got some changes this weekend. They will not play Friday's scheduled game today. They'll play it tomorrow. If you have Friday tickets, you get in both games tomorrow. If you got Saturday tickets, you're kind of out of luck. They're supposed to get you some tickets later on today. But when you remember delays, how did that kind of change the thinking and game plan from Norm? And how do you think that changes the perspective from Dave Van Horn?
Well, the biggest thing is you just have to get to the park earlier. You change your time schedule when you eat in the morning, if you're going to eat anything between the games. Back when I played, we played doubleheaders all the time. I mean, every midweek game was a doubleheader. You're getting to the field at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. You don't get out of there till dark because we didn't have lights. So things have changed now, and playing a doubleheader, they act like is a big burden when, I hate to say back in the day, but back in the day, that was just a normal day.
Just accustomed to it. Now, we've seen a lot of pitchers to this point. You're still waiting on guys like Dylan Carter and Bybee and Dietz. Is there a pitcher that you haven't seen a lot of, or one of those guys that have been injured or trying to come back from mononucleosis that you're really excited to see this spring?
Bybee is one I'm really anxious to see, and I think everybody's kind of waiting because he was blown up to be pretty much the fourth starter just from what he showed, early in the fall and the way he threw the ball, and his potential and his accolades coming in. So Bobby is somebody I can't wait to see get on the mound and see if he produces as advertised.
Scott Tabor with us here on the Morning Rush. Our visit brought to you by Alumni Hall. Scott, I want to ask you about the midweek game. Arkansas played UCA, an in-state opponent. You felt like it was going to be a tough game going in. It lived up to that. 9-7 the final. Arkansas had to scrap and had an explosive 7-run inning. What's the value in having, as we head into this McNeese State series this weekend, you got one with Oral Roberts, and then you begin SEC play. I mean, Arkansas had some tough games at Arlington, but having some games here heading into SEC play, what's the value of having to scrap for 9 innings for this team to get them ready for the conference slate ahead?
I think the value is huge. It's as if a pitcher goes in and everything he throws is a strike and nobody touches him the whole game. You get kind of used to that happening. As a team, if you play a game and you have to scrap, you may have a comfortable lead early and they start coming back, things get a little tense because things are tense from first inning through the 9th inning in the SEC. You never say, "Oh, we got them now," because teams are explosive. We're explosive. I think something that it really, really shows, and I could see this happening, is Van Horn kind of resorting back to old Van Horn and producing runs rather than waiting for the big ball, because those just aren't happening. They're just not happening the way everybody thinks they should. So I could see him changing the way he does things a little more hit and run, a little more bunting guys over, getting the guy on second base with less than 2 outs, and then try to hit him in. So I think playing tight games is telling him, I need to change some things up.
Well, Hiva Aloy had a grand slam in that game. He's a guy that's been struggling at the plate. He's made some good contact, but with a good wind blowing out to left center, he got the ball out of the park to clear the bases. Is this something that could spark him? He's averaging 200 coming out of that game and heading into this weekend. Is that something that could be a kind of a flint for this, or is what do you expect from Aloy moving forward?
Well, there's a difference between a 200 ground balls and strikeouts to the 200 line drives at guys all over the field. And I think his 200 is a hard 200, a very loud 200. And it's hard to tell a kid, hey, just keep swinging. Eventually they'll fall, and you have 5 or 6 in a row go right to somebody. So hitting one out of the park, a grand slam's fantastic, and it sparked the team. And so those little things add up, and I think he's going to be on track. I don't think he ever went away. He just didn't show up the way everybody thought he would early, and I think a lot of it's just because he wasn't hitting them where they ain't, and that's the best ball you can hit.
Scott Tabor with us via Alumni Hall. Scott, last non-conference series this weekend. I know you played in a different conference back in the old Southwest Conference days, but what kind of transition do you remember maybe being upped, maybe just in that locker room and then that dugout transitioning from the last non-conference weekend series to conference play starting up?
Well, I look at it a little bit different. As a pitcher, you didn't really look at things. I didn't look at things different. The strike zone's the same. The plate's the same width. It's 60 feet 6 inches to home plate. And as a pitcher, you don't really ramp up. You're not going to throw it harder than you can. You're not going to try harder because you better be trying hard every pitch. Everything has to be precise. I think it's more of a team thing. I think it's more of a coaching thing. These games are more important because they count against your conference record, but you go into every series trying to do the same things that you've been practicing and that you've been working on and that you've been having these high leverage games and high leverage pitching situations. Those are all good things to get ready for conference because they count heavier. So it's an overall attitude. It's not a individual player like they're going to ramp it up and all of a sudden start trying. So it's an overall feeling, and I think, like I said, producing runs, trying to steal some runs from the other team here and there, where you're not waiting for the big inning all the time. I think those are the things that'll change.
So you guys were just talking about Vahiva Aloy there. I also want to talk about another Hawaii guy, and that's Nolan Souza. Played actually for Rick Nomera, who's the other Hawaiian that played for Arkansas. How much is he going to, given Dave Van Horn, to think about the infield the way he's been hitting the ball?
If you hit, you'll play. And he's got some guys that are starting to hit, and he's got to find a place to play them. You can't take bats out of the lineup because the other guy's supposed to be a really good hitter. So it's doing what you're supposed to do versus what you think you can do, and he's going to have to play him. He's going to have to find a place to play him.
As you've watched the last few games, Arkansas's deep at catcher. Parker Rowland, Helfrich, White, any of those guys you think, and I know they're all getting some time. Hudson White came in as a pinch hitter and finished out the game on Tuesday. None of them are setting the world on fire from the plate, and I know Dave wanted to have a hitting catcher, but are you seeing anything defensively that makes one, in your mind, as a former pitcher, stand out? Is there any separation there, I guess is what I'm asking?
Well, not since I'm not throwing to him, you can't really get comfortable with him. You get comfortable with a catcher the way he calls a game, and they let them call the game, which I think is fantastic. So I haven't really seen anything that sticks out to where one guy is head and shoulders above the other guys. And, you can be deep at catcher, but if you're deep with greatness, that's one thing. If you're deep with, they're all kind of interchangeable. So if they're all interchangeable, that's not always a good thing. You need to have one guy that's going to step up and be the guy. And if he's struggling with the bat a little bit, then you can bring somebody else in and not really have a fall off. But I'd like to see somebody really, really take the bull by the horns and step up and not only hit the ball, but block the ball, call good games, and throw guys down to second base. Every coach would love to have that.
I guess the defensive side of it should be a given, and anything extra at the plate's kind of a bonus, right?
Yeah, it's not so much stepping up and doing better. They're trying to. It's almost like they're trying not to mess up, And if you're trying not to mess up, you're not going to excel. So I think maybe they'll loosen up a little bit. That's hard to tell. Everybody's different. I think they handle the pitchers pretty well. You don't see very many times that they get crossed up, and their signs are good. I guess with I guess they use a wristband now, so giving signals aren't as big of a deal.
Yeah, I'm ready to see Stovall back in this lineup, him healthy, and kind of see how Dave handles that infield. You assume Holt goes to third. You assume Aloy and McLaughlin stay in their spots, but I'll be interested to see how this lineup looks when he returns.
It's all going to be based on how he produces when he comes back, because he's going to put him in there, and somebody's going to have to, with a good attitude, take a seat because he's a proven entity. And, back play with Norm, he'd scratch his head, who they're not going to put in. I need somebody else to step up and be a good player. Now he's got the problem of which good hitter am I going to take out of the lineup? Which good player am I going to move? And, you want to keep them happy. So he's got a good problem to have, but you want to see him really get in there and produce.
Scott, you bring up Norm. We were joking about coaching cliches earlier. What was the phrase, and again, we're on FCC restricted airwaves, maybe can't say everything, but what was the phrase you remember that Coach DeBryan used to say back in the day?
The first phrase I ever remember hearing him say, and it's not even, it's just the way he was. He's sitting there and he's got his head, he's looking at his notebook and he's scratching his head with his pen and he's looking around and he's walking back and forth and he looks at me one time and he goes, Dave, I don't know, And I looked at him and I said, yes, sir, no, sir. I didn't know what to say. And that was his circle around when he couldn't really, he was kind of a filler business, I don't know, And I go, yes, sir. I don't know. No, sir. Yes, sir. So, I don't know. He had a lot of them that, most of them you couldn't say.
Yeah. Saw a coach the other day at an event at Sterling Bank that honored our friend Dean Weber, and Coach looked great. Looked great as always. So it was good to see him out and about.
The man's amazing. He never changes. He looked that way back in the 70s. So he's a pretty sharp guy.
Well, Scott, enjoy the games, and hopefully the weather will get on the right side of things, and we'll get 3 games in this weekend.
Yep, 3-0, going into conference strong.
All right, we'll talk next Friday and get ready for the first conference series.
All right, brother. Go Hogs.
Scott Tabor with us here on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. Our visit with Scott each Friday brought to you by Alumni Hall, the ultimate Razorback shopping experience, the best and largest of licensed apparel for the entire family. Nike, Champion, Columbia, Onward Reserve. They got Peter Millar, so if you want some Peter Millar, they got Razorback stuff there. Yetis, accessories, gifts, and more. Now, if you're an Arkansas student, faculty, or your military, you receive 10% off in-store with your ID, and you can earn cash back with Hall Pass rewards. Every $10, you get $10 off for every 100, and 50 points you earn. So you can do that at Alumni Hall. They're located next to Whole Foods in Fayetteville, or shop alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Razorback fans shop.
Tom, is it a bad look if I go in there with my student ID to get a discount? Bad look?
There's not many students with receding hairlines. I think they'd probably look at you
there
a little,
it is.
Little sharper. Chuck, what'd you hear there with Scott? I know, things are a little bit in flux this weekend with the weather, but you got to see the game on Tuesday. I mean, I thought it was valuable for Arkansas to get a battle with UCA to get ready for these games that are coming up that are going to matter a lot in the SEC.
Two things from Scott. One is that you do not take a good hitter out of the lineup for someone who is supposed to be a good hitter. That's the first thing. And the overriding thing that I hear when we talk about all these things that are happening with the baseball team is how we do overlook sometimes the challenges a coach faces coaching a team filled with great players. We know the challenges a coach faces when he's got a team that doesn't have enough great players. We understand that. But, you think about Arkansas's baseball situation right now, and it's this way with any good team in any sport where the expectations are high. You're too deep, man. If one guy screws up, so what? I got somebody else to put in. There's a challenge there because you don't want to be the guy that messes it up because you can screw it up. I've seen it screwed up. I've seen teams loaded with talent that are so screwed up from the neck up, so to speak, that they don't win. And so you've got to plug the right pieces in the right spot. There's still a great challenge even if you've got multiple stars. In fact, sometimes the challenge is even greater. It's different. Most coaches don't deal with that. Most coaches are dealing with a lack of talent. Yeah. Sometimes you've got to not mess up the team that you've put together. And there is a greater challenge there maybe than we talk about.
You mentioned, Tommy, just assuming Peyton Stovall's going to go back into the lineup, and then Holt's going to move to third. Spray Lott's in over 400.
Holt played third on Tuesday.
Yeah,
well,
he did.
Sprague Lott's the leading hitter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's hitting
I mean,
4-7.
what are you going to do? You going to sit him?
He's hitting 417 right now, and he played.
And that's my point.
Yeah, to go to Chuck, I don't think, and like Vahiva Aloy it was good to see him hit that grand slam, but he has not hit well this season. So
but you're not going to plug a different shortstop in. He's going to play shortstop for you, probably.
Yeah. But Nolan Souza's played more of late. I know that the numbers aren't as thick on at bats, but he didn't even get a hit on Tuesday, and he's averaging 333. So he's making a case after some good play the previous weekend. So I mean, it's a good problem to have, but decisions have to be made.
What's interesting Go ahead, Chuck.
Go ahead, Ty. No.
I was going to say what's interesting about Sprague Lott is Sprague Lott was known from Richmond for being like a defensive stalwart in the infield. Instead, like he's probably had more errors than had been expected to this point. He's hit the crap out of the baseball. So I don't know if, again, like you said, that is a more difficult decision that we realize when you have more talent and you don't have an excess of playing time because of the limited number of players on a baseball diamond.
Extra outs are what gets you beat. You can't play somebody just because they're a hitter. You've got to have a player that doesn't cost you runs, particularly at that spot at third base and particularly behind the plate. You can have big bats at those spots, but you better not have guys that cost you runs.
And you mentioned, Tommy, you were asking Scott about the best defensive catcher is Parker Rowland, but he's not the best hitter. He was not a good hitter last year. He's probably not that much improved this year. So Dave's trying to factor in with these other guys, with Helfrich, White. I'm forgetting the other guy that's factoring in, but that is what he's trying to deal with. Is like what Chuck just said. It's like you're trying to get as many hits out of the lineup as possible in the batting order, but at the same time not have errors, not have those key defensive mistakes, especially when you get into these tighter postseason games when it's not 10-10 or whatever it's going to be.
I don't know that there's a general rule to follow. For example, if you got 4 or 5 guys in your lineup and they're just scorching it right now, I mean, you're scoring 8-9 runs a ball game, and you got one catcher or one position player that's really good defensively, and you'd like to have him on the field, well, that's when you play him because you're scoring runs. Now, if you get into a situation where you're not scoring runs, sometimes you may play the guy that gives you a chance to get going offensively. So during the course of a long season, I don't know that, frankly, you're going to need 4. But, again, you've got to figure out who gives you the best chance to win, and that's not always as simple as it sounds.
Just want to give everyone an update on our schedule this weekend. No baseball game today. It has been moved to tomorrow, doubleheader. We are going to have Arkansas basketball, and then we'll have the second game of baseball. So Chuck and Z will be courtside starting at 10:30, and then we'll have the game itself, then Hog Reaction with myself and Matt Jones, and then we will lead right into what will be about the time that the second game gets going. There's a 45-minute gap between game 1, which starts at 12, and then game 2, which will probably get going right around 4, which will lean into baseball at that point. So that's kind of our setup tomorrow, Tommy, on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com and our Hit That Line Now app.
Yeah, if you haven't downloaded the app, get that. So if you're on the go tomorrow, going to be good weather. If you're out in the yard, playing golf, fishing, whatever you're doing, you can use that app to listen to the game in most of our listening areas. Hey, let me quickly, speaking of fishing, let me tell you about Gaston's White River Resort. They can get you fixed up with a great weekend of fishing or a great few days. I know a lot of people are looking for some midweek windows to get away and enjoy the White River. It's a great time to call Gaston's and book those reservations. 870-431-5202 is their number. And you can go online at gastons.com and see a variety of accommodations in the size of the cabins, how many people it will accommodate. So whether you have 2 people going or 22 people going, they've got a place for you to stay. And if we need to bunch together several cabins in one end of the property, they can do that. They've been around 60 years, and they have grown over the years. And they've got 2 miles of White River frontage there that you can enjoy. Nature trails and fitness trails and a fitness center and a new pool. It's all there as well. 870-431-5202. The restaurant's open for the weekend. It's Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time every time.
Just say, Alexa, play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sacale, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper.
Danville, Arkansas.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
So I mentioned Arkansas taking on Alabama tomorrow. Chuck and Z will be courtside starting at 10:30 right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Here was Eric Musselman talking about the challenge that Alabama poses.
A team that we know will be ready to play. You know, you never want to walk in and play a team after they've lost, especially a team that has a chance to play for a national championship like Alabama does. So we just got to regroup. A lot of guys played a lot of minutes. Got to get them fresh and ready to play on an early. Here we go again. The opponent played on Tuesday. We played on Wednesday. And we have a tip-off before you can eat a bagel. So, I mean, it's a yearly occurrence for us to go play at Alabama. So we just go there, and we know they're going to be ready to play. We know they'll have a great crowd. We know they're explosive in transition. We know they want to take a lot of threes and try to get to the rim and take as many layups. You know, we know Sears and Estrada throw rifle passes with their left hand when they get in the lane for spit-out threes. Now we got to try to do everything we can to defend them.
And that's what we talked about earlier. Arkansas is not going to be able to hold down Alabama in Coleman Coliseum, but you got to, again, not let them get over 100 points like they did multiple times this season. You heard him mention Estrada and Sears, two lefties that are very crafty. Sears carved you up last year in Bud Walton Arena. He is an excellent guard, very strong, got Jalen Brunson-type moves, and it really starts with stopping him tomorrow, Chuck. I don't know who's going to be assigned to him defensively, thinking Devo if he gets the start or wherever he plays, but that's really the key to their whole offense is Mark Sears.
Well, he's a great player, and they've got a lot of great players on that team. They can score. They can do a lot of things, and I'm certain that they'll be loaded and ready to play in their home arena tomorrow. And the idea that because they've struggled on the road means they're going to come back home on senior day and lay an egg, that's wishful thinking and then some. They'll come loaded and ready to play, and Arkansas's got to do the same thing.
I was looking for Nate Oates talking about Arkansas, but since football spring practice has started, no Alabama fans actually care about that basketball team or what Nate Oates has to say in regards to the Arkansas Razorback football team. Or basketball team. I know a lot of you care about what Sam Pittman has to say. He's going to be talking with the media later on today, a little after 11 o'clock. Get a chance to watch their practice again, closer to 9 today. So we'll give you some updates about that on halftime, Ruskin and Zach. And then also on the Morning Rush on Monday. No Arkansas baseball today, like we were talking about with Scott. They will play tomorrow starting at 12. And then the second game will be about 45 minutes after, so probably about 4 o'clock or so.
Yeah, about a 70% chance of rain forecasted for Fayetteville today, so it's going to be a wet one here in northwest Arkansas, and tomorrow's forecast looks great. So that field drains really well. We talk about that you talk about cliches. We say that all the time, but it does. They've got the pumps and everything underneath. So, Chuck, I don't think the playing surface will be a problem at all for the doubleheader on Saturday.
No, it'll be fine tomorrow. It'll be chilly, it sounds like, but the sun will be out, so – yeah, they'll get 2 games in. That's the biggest adjustment in all this is just playing 2 games. I mean, it's a long, long day because if your first game's at noon and you're the home team, you're taking BP by 10 o'clock in the morning. and which means you've been at the ballpark for a while before that, and then you know, by the time you're out of there after the game, I mean, it's a 12-hour day for those players and coaches.
All right, that's going to do it for your Hog Update this morning. It is brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, we got plenty of basketball to discuss. Talked about Alabama and Arkansas, other SEC matchups before the tournament in Nashville. Also got some prop bets we will get to on the Arkansas baseball team as we welcome in our friend Sean the Fence Man for another Fence Man Friday.
Fenceman Friday Picks. Call the Fenceman for all kinds of fences, controlled access, and custom iron projects. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman. We ain't afraid of no work.
All right, we'll start with the biggest game of the weekend, Tommy. Tennessee hosting the Kentucky Wildcats as 3-point favorites. If you remember, Tennessee went to Rupp and scored 100-plus on John Calipari earlier this season. Do the Wildcats return the favor, or does Tennessee cover tomorrow, the 3-point spread?
Tennessee doesn't have anything left to play for in the regular season of the SEC. I guess they're still making a bid for a number one seed. Kentucky's tough at home. I'm going to go with the Wildcats.
Well, Tommy, it's in Knoxville.
Oh, I heard you backwards. Okay, I'm going with the home team then. That's why I was going to say going with the home team.
Tommy likes that home floor advantage.
Well,
I do.
It's tough in Thompson Bowl. I don't know South Carolina won there earlier this season, but I think you mentioned the aspect of playing for the one seed. I've got Tennessee covering tomorrow. I think that's a huge part of them not just winning tomorrow against Kentucky, but winning next week in Nashville too, Chuck.
Yeah, they're bid for the number one overall seed, Chuck.
Yeah. I think, in fact, today, as we speak, they are a number one overall seed. Based on that win at South Carolina, I think they got to hold serve, and I think they will.
They closed out their regular season, Sean, with 4 straight ranked teams, and they'll get that tomorrow. Again, they're 3-point favorites. You going with the Cats or the Vols?
Go Vols all the way.
All right, another game we'll get into. Georgia takes on the Auburn Tigers. Auburn is a 12-point favorite. Georgia's fallen off a cliff, Tommy.
Where's this game at?
This is at Auburn.
Oh, yeah, welcome to the jungle.
Yeah,
Give me Auburn.
It's going to be a blowout, Chuck. Auburn wins this game by 15 to 20 plus tomorrow.
I would think so. Yeah, Auburn big.
Are you going Oppo Taco, Sean, or are you staying on the Georgia train?
No. We'll stay with the home team. You know they're going to get it done.
Okay. Before we talk Arkansas basketball in Coleman, Hagen Smith tomorrow, Tommy, over 8.5 strikeouts, but under 74.5 pitches. Does he get
so he's got
8.5 plus
9 strikeouts?
Yeah, 9 strikeouts, but he's got to do it in 74 or less pitches. Does he accomplish that tomorrow?
Be a little cooler. I want to say no. Won't go that. May not go that long.
What about you, Sean? Does he get it done tomorrow in that time frame?
I'm like Tommy. I think with the weather's going to be affecting it, so no.
All right. I think he does. I think we saw the Hagen last week that we're going to see all season. Probably not going to see the same Hagen in Globe Life. That was an unreal performance, but I think he gets it tomorrow. All right, Arkansas is a
career performance.
Arkansas is a 9-point dog in Tuscaloosa tomorrow. They played well on the road lately. I'm going to take Arkansas to cover. I don't think they're going to win, Tommy, but I expect them to cover against the Crimson Tide tomorrow.
I hope you're right. I'm just going to go opposite to be opposite. Give me Alabama.
Does Arkansas cover tomorrow, Sean?
Oh, yeah. Go Hogs.
And then, Chuck, you've got South Carolina and Mississippi State, where Mississippi State is a 5-point underdog,
Where are they playing?
They are playing in Starkville, Chuck.
I'm going to take Mississippi State in the points.
Mississippi State in the points. Needing a win for Chris Jans as we close out here on a Fence Man Friday, Tommy.
Man, I saw a new fence you put up the other day with some custom top rail and custom projects, Sean. No problem for you.
No, sir. No problem at all. We got the crews. We got the talent. Very booked up for the spring, so if you are wanting us to put a fence in for you, please give us a call, get a free estimate, and get on our schedule as soon as possible. We're just super blessed and can't complain.
782-3936. That's for the Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. Hour 3 next.
For a new year of work with limited time savings on Bobcat equipment at Bobcat of Northwest Arkansas in Rogers. Get as low as 0% for 72 months on a Bobcat compact tractor, or choose a free front-end loader when you buy with cash. Special offers are also available on Bobcat zero-turn mowers with financing as low as 0% for 48 months, or rebates up to $900 on select models. Call Bobcat of Northwest Arkansas or come by to get these great deals. Hurry, these offers end March 31st. Some exclusions apply.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do some cold water bass fishing, you need to be using an Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. It's the best lure for duplicating a small school of shad and can be worked from the top of the water column to the bottom. Whether you're trying to win a bass tournament or whoop up on a bunch of white bass and stripers, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. will catch them. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fitzman. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fitzman can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fitzman can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call the Fitzman and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fitzman. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
We're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Matt.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is the reigning champion of my own conference, Robert.
You do realize that's not a thing.
Well, I did receive a plaque commemorating that accomplishment.
Yeah, and I was elected the president of Mars. Anyway, Hog fans, it's that time again.
It's baseball season. And Hog fans, the Stadium Shop has everything you need for Razorback baseball.
From t-shirts, sweatshirts, man cave stuff, and even a Razorback original, the Bases Loaded beer hats.
Plus, ladies, as well as a restocked women's section, we have the Bases Loaded beer stein boppers.
Yeah, it's kind of like those old-time space alien antennas, you know?
Yeah, well, not really.
So when you're in Fayetteville, stop by the store at 989 South Razorback Road, next door to Baum Walker Stadium, or you can shop us on them WW Interweb, FaceGram, you get it, Matthew.
Dad, do you mean the website?
Yeah.
Which is shoponrazorback.com. That's shoponrazorback.com.
Or call us at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
As always,
go Hogs!
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we have the biggest and best selection of premium pre-owned vehicles we've had in years. Many with low miles and those special features you're looking for, and each one road ready certified with warranty. Be sure to ask about the weekly specials that can save you up to $4,000. Road ready certified used cars and savings up to $4,000. Two more reasons all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Are you looking for a change of scenery? Lavorne Lumber is looking to hire a Class A CDL flatbed driver for a regional position. Lavorne Lumber is highly competitive in pay. Lavorne Lumber is a family-owned lumber and trucking company. Home most nights and every single weekend. Guaranteed. Lavorne Lumber has top-of-the-line equipment. If you're interested in the job, stop by Lavorne Lumber at 515 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith, Monday through Friday from 9 to 4.
Spring is just around the corner, and Jelco Outdoors is ready with all of your spring fishing gear. Crappie, bass, catfish, Jelco has a great selection of rods, reels, and baits to help you fill that stringer. Spring turkey supplies are rolling in daily, and the firearms department is stocked up with ammo for outdoor shooting. Spring is almost here, so get outdoors and enjoy the spring season. Stop by Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith, for all your outdoor gear. Think spring, think Jelco Outdoors.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, showers, a chance of thunderstorms. Our temperatures actually falling out of the 60s across the north. We should be in the upper 60s further south. Showers and thunderstorms hanging on tonight. Overnight lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. And then sunny and cooler weather in place for Saturday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
I don't think you can block out everything. I mean, you try to talk to your players about blocking out this, that, and the other, and obviously you can't talk the talk and not walk the walk, but it's hard, you know. I'm the head coach at Arkansas today, and I'm going to be the head coach, in my opinion, for a long time here. I just got to get it turned around. I believe that we can do it together. We did it in much worse circumstances when we got in here than where we're at now.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text The Morning Rush on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
So there's a lot of things that have to go right for Arkansas's football team to have a successful season. We could talk about the linebackers, we could talk about the offensive line, but I think you're at least excited about what could happen at quarterback under Bobby Petrino. We heard some guys yesterday, what they've said about Taylor Green, Malachi Singleton, who, by the way, was in the 2s yesterday, something to keep an eye on, and then also what Sam Pittman has said about that position. We'll get into that coming up in hour number 3, and also want to congratulate some boys and girls state champions in basketball as well as this hour, Tommy.
Yeah, it was night 1 of the Arkansas High School State Championships in Hot Springs. Day 2 starts later on today at Banco ZK Arena, and the final sets of games will be tomorrow. And I know a lot of I'm in Hot Springs right now, and it's a happening place. You got horse racing going on. You got high school basketball. You know, when you look around the state and places to live, things to do, I know, Chuck, when people look for retirement places and new homes, the Hot Springs area is the place. And if you're looking to buy or sell your home, we've got the perfect partner to help you in that transaction.
My personal experience, and I think that your experience will be the same way. In fact, I know it will. You know, the housing market, interest rates, what's going on with the economy, all that stuff matters right now, whether you're buying or selling. And you want to partner with someone who really understands exactly what it all means to you, and someone who understands your location, listens to you when you talk about your needs, and then keeps a line of communication open throughout the process. I think that is what you're going to experience. In fact, I know that's what you're going to experience with Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. Now, they've got offices in Northwest Arkansas, Washington and Benton counties. They're in the River Valley, in the Fort Smith area, and you're just talking about their office in Branson, too. So you can visit any of their offices. You can check out their selection, and it is vast. You can check it out at WeichertGriffin.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by McLarty Daniel. McLarty Daniel has a vehicle to fit both your style and budget. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, you're never too far from a good deal. Visit McLartyDaniel.com to find your next ride.
All right, so if I missed a state champion game or someone that's not in our listening area, text us on that McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. So we had 4 games yesterday, Tommy, where you're at in Hot Springs. Grayson Wilson, who's a class of 2025 Arkansas commit, quarterback for the CAC Mustangs, defeated Bergman, which I know is in our listening area. They won 57-47. On the girls' side of things, you had Farmington beat Morrilton 58-31. Salem went down. I can't read my crappy handwriting. Tommy, who did
Bergman in the girls game? So the first game of the day was Bergman and Salem girls, and Bergman won that. You mentioned CAC beating the Bergman boys. And then the night games last night in the 4A, you mentioned Morrilton losing to Farmington. That was a rematch of the regional championship. And then last night in the night game was Little Rock Christian besting Farmington. Farmington had their boys and girls in the 4A championship games. And Little Rock Christian, Ty, your alma mater, had a nice performance. Saw Corliss Williamson, his son, play, sitting in the stands. Sean Andrews' son is on that team, and he was sitting about 2 rows behind Corliss. So, I don't know if you can get more star-studded at a high school championship game, Chuck, than those two right there at half court.
That is one of the things that's kind of neat about what they do there with a high school tournament, where they bring everybody together and the stars do come out. I remember a few years back when Scottie Pippen was there,
yep.
And it's amazing. Those of us who are from Arkansas know this. I mean, if we get to talking, we all. A lot of us are related, if you get right down to it. And, you do see, your heroes there with their kids playing, and it's kind of a neat deal.
Sean Andrews' son, just got ranked nationally in the top 25 on Rivals, so he is going to be highly looked at. We got a text here from Jacob in Fort Smith asking where Layden Blocker's little brother Lander is going. He's currently committed to Louisiana Tech. I don't think he's signed there, but that is the situation with Layden's little brother right now. So those are the 4 games from yesterday. You got plenty of more this weekend. On the boys' side, we'll get to those first, and then we'll talk about the ladies. Valonia takes on Greenwood, and then Conway and Central today. And then you've got Norfolk against Mammoth Springs tomorrow, and then also Mansfield against Mount Vernon. Olia, Tommy? You're the high school
Mount
one.
Vernon and Enola.
Okay. That's the boys, the remaining 4 boys state championship games. On the girls' side, you have Pine Bluff against Ben Bryant against Central, Mark Tree versus Nevada, and then Marshall against East Poinsett County are the remaining state championships where you're at, Tommy. I have not been to those in 10-plus years, but kind of like Chuck just alluded to, and for those that have made that trip down to Hot Springs, it's a great setup. They should never move that tournament. Hot Springs does a great job with that weekend, and I enjoyed going to those state championship games back in the day.
Yeah, so you enjoyed them so much it hadn't been in 10 years. That's
great. I got busy with college and work and doing the show and whatnot, but it is pretty. Yeah. It's a cool setup.
It is good because it's special. I mean, back when I was in high school, you just played the state championship game as the final game of the state tournament wherever that location was. I remember watching one of those great Little Rock Parkview teams take on my alma mater in Fort Smith Southside at Tucker Coliseum, and that was one of Rip's best teams with Dion Cross and Derek Fisher. They had 6 guys signed Division I scholarships, and Barry Lunny Jr. was on the South Side team, kind of the leader of that, and they played that at Tucker because that's where the state tournament was. Now they bring them all together. They did it in Pine Bluff for a number of years. It's moved around a little bit, but it's been in Hot Springs for a while, and I think it's a great setup. It's centrally located enough that everybody enjoys going to Hot Springs, so it's really, you're right, it is a great setup, and it makes it special to be a part of a state championship game for those kids and those coaches.
So I know we got
the fans.
Yeah, we got a lot of probably grandkids, nieces, nephews, friend of a friend that are participating in some way, shape, or form. You got kids in the band, you got cheerleaders, whatever. So have fun this weekend if you're in Hot Springs. Also, as you mentioned earlier, going to Oaklawn this weekend.
Yeah,
Well,
they were racing yesterday at Oaklawn when I drove by. So.
Yeah, and that's a place that Sam Pittman every once in a while frequents when he goes to Lake Hamilton, but he's got his focus on this Arkansas football team in spring practice right now. And I know we've already gotten questions about the quarterback position role. One of the interesting comments made yesterday about the quarterback is what Landon Jackson said about Taylon Green. Here were your defensive ends comments about apparently a quarterback's got some wheels.
He has a great arm, but I feel like he can dominate you with running the ball. I mean, there was times where I had him out leveraged whenever I was surfing, and I had him out leveraged, and he'll still pull it and still get outside. So when it comes down to it, I mean, if he really needs to, he's going to use his feet and get those yards.
And that was, I think, one of the things that intrigued a lot of Arkansas fans when they saw highlights of Taylon initially at Boise State is, I mean, Bobby seems like big quarterbacks. We think about Ryan Mallett, but Tommy, you initially kind of likened to our teammate Matt Jones with that 6'6", 6'7" frame, and he can fly. I don't know, he didn't have 4.4, 4.3 speed like Matt had, but 4.6 and 4.7 ain't too shabby either.
Let's not get carried away with is he Matt Jones, because there's only one Matt Jones, but the frame and the measurements and the dimensions are there. Matt just had a way of eluding tacklers that made him the legend he is. But you got to have someone that can make some guys miss, some guys that can kind of freelance, Chuck, because those seem to be the most dangerous guys at times. Is the freelancers that get into open space and get you first downs.
Well, they're the guys the defensive coordinator has to account for as a runner as they prepare during the week. And you've got to commit a man to that guy who can run the ball. And that's the reason that they all love the running quarterback.
It's completely changed the game, college football, and not just college football. We're seeing the National Football League, too, with guys like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and whatnot. I don't know if we'll ever revert back to the stoic Peyton Mannings of the world, but that is currently where both leagues are right now at this point. And I'm going to be honest. I told Chuck, I don't know if you were listening earlier. I mean, if we had odds on the Bet Saracen app right now, Taylon Green's got clear. He's like minus 500 for quarterback one. Quarterback's already been decided, in my opinion. Now, I know that, again, Sam Pittman and Bobby Petrino, I guess Sam Pittman's already said via 247 Sports that they're going to decide at the end of spring. QB's already been decided. Taylon Green's going to be your quarterback one this fall. I would put, if I was allowed to do so, I would put an insane amount of money on that unless he gets injured. I think that's the question people wonder about right now, if that has indeed gone down already, if the decision's been made, not publicly, but privately.
Well, I think that one of the things you do have to realize is that them throwing and catching yesterday was not the first time they've thrown and caught. They've been doing a lot of work. There's been, they've been getting acquainted with one another and how they play, so to speak. So, that was interesting to me yesterday, was the fact that, he ran with the ones. And from what I read, I mean, obviously we were on the air during the bulk of all this, but from what I read, he worked almost exclusively with the ones, if I'm not mistaken. So, yes, I mean, I think you look at it after the first day, and you do wonder if they've already decided which direction they'd like to go. Doesn't mean they will, but what happened yesterday certainly begs a question.
And we always talk about these situations. We say the players ultimately decide who ends up being not just starting quarterback, starting point guard. I mean, you can toss in any scenario there. And like if you play with a certain guy and you play better, that's typically going to be the starter. Here was Andrew Armstrong talking about, kind of like you were talking, the winner and just the setup when it comes to these quarterbacks.
We've been throwing like all winter break, after workouts, before workouts, getting up there early and things like that, trying to get our timing right. So I feel like the battle right now is going. So I'm pretty sure by the end of spring, they'll probably have a sort of idea. But right now, it's all up in the air right now. it's fun watching them battle, watching them have the discussion with us on like the timing of the routes, like out routes or comebacks or fade, like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's just overall fun. Like everybody got their different things. You know, Malachi, he can throw it deep, he can run. They all do, like, you know, they all can run, they all can throw. It's not really the point I could just make for each one. Like I feel like they're all just great.
He used the word timing twice. We talked about this, I don't know if it was yesterday or Monday, but we talked about the importance of timing. I can tell you that, you know, when you watch any of Coach Petrino's offenses over the years, timing is so critical. And that's what they've been working on. You know, that's what they do work on before and after workouts, just like Andrew was saying right there. So I think they've got an idea about perhaps who can serve them best in that regard. But one thing I do know is that whoever's playing the best is the guy that's going to start. Nobody's been guaranteed anything other than you're going to have a chance to compete for it. And just because you went out there first on the first day of spring practice does not mean you'll go out there first over Labor Day weekend. And it certainly doesn't mean that when you get to the meaningful games in November, you're still going to be the guy. But it does give us an indication of how some of the sessions that Andrew was talking about there have gone. If you listen to what he says, you kind of get an idea that, you know, maybe Green's been the best in that area.
And speaking of those sessions, one of the things that Sam Pittman has expanded is the 7-on-7, not just for his quarterback and wide receivers, but they've got some new secondary players they want to see as well.
You know, obviously, I think everybody knows we went in the portal and got Taylon Green, who we're ecstatic. We're very happy he's on our football team. But I think, you know, obviously with competition, everybody gets better out of it. And so we're going to approach that. For one thing, we've extended 7-on-7. We've got some quarterbacks that we need to see. We have some receivers. Jordan Anthony's a new receiver. We have some new safeties, a corner. And so we've extended 7-on-7 period up to 8 minutes each day because we've got to evaluate these quarterbacks. We've got to do it early. I would like to know exactly who the starting quarterback is coming out of spring ball. I think we can, but the only way you can do that is give the kids more reps to give them more opportunity to compete. So that's one of the ways that we're going to get that evaluated.
You know, evaluating your defensive backs is a byproduct of that. But if you listen to what he says, I mean, by far and away, the reason they're doing that is to evaluate the quarterbacks. But getting a better look perhaps at your defensive backs is a byproduct.
What I think is funny, you remember Bobby's old MO? It's like when a defensive player kind of either got a pick or got a sack or something, and he'd rip him a new one because he was really focused on the offense. I don't think we're going to see that this spring practice or fall camp. I think there's not going to be a lot of that we saw back in the day.
I don't know how it's going to go. I mean, we'll just, we'll have to see how that transpires. But, Bobby Petrino's not the head coach. I mean, Sam Pittman's the head coach. So the head coach dictates the tone of practice.
Yep, and we talked a lot about the wide receivers and quarterbacks there. Just got a text from Ty, who's at practice yesterday, one of the guys that works for Pig Trail Nation. He was talking about Braylon Russell. And we mentioned him a little bit yesterday, but Braylon comes in. He's like 250 pounds. Kid out of Benton, looks really good. He's behind a lot. He's behind Augustive. He's behind Jackson. He's behind Dominique Johnson. But I mean, you mentioned this with Broderick Green yesterday, Chuck. Petrino likes big backs, and if this guy, even as a freshman, can make an impact, they might play him a little bit, see what he can do.
I bet we see him in goal line. That's where I bet we see him.
He's a guy that there's some guys that get to campus, and you're just like, he's a football player immediately, and you're just surprised that he's already developed. Rocket Sanders, for example, like you saw his football picture immediately. It's like, that guy's a football player. Peyton Hillis immediately gets to campus. He was ready to go. I don't know if Braylon Russell's necessarily going to amount to what Hillis was and what Rocket is, but at least from just a look standpoint, he definitely has the football player look to him.
No, you're right. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. As I said a minute ago, I think you'll see him in goal line. That's where I think he'll contribute.
Yeah, I mean, and right about the fact that Petrino used to like, or at least he has a history of liking bigger backs. I don't know anyone that that doesn't like to have one of those around. But again, what happened 15 years ago with a guy like Cody Walker or a Kiero Small or someone of that nature? Not that Kiero was tall, but he was a powerful back. Doesn't mean exactly that's the way it's going to be done this year. It still comes back to, we can talk about these quarterbacks and running backs, and having Luke Haas back is going to be a big deal, wide receivers. Guys, I mean, it's not as sexy a conversation, but if that offensive line isn't ready to perform at an SEC level, it's going to be a problem. And that's what really matters more coming out of spring than anything for me is, does there seem to be a good 7 or 8 man rotation you can build on, and 5 solid starters at each spot that you can go with, and then a few utility players that can be mixed and matched, and you can move guys around and not have a huge drop-off. Chuck, having 8 guys that can play up front is the most important thing, I think, that has to come out of spring.
Well, it all works together. I mean, it really does. It all starts with the quarterback. And to me, if you were to say what's the most important thing, I would still say the quarterback. But the offensive line, look, it's got to be better than what it was a year ago, and they know that. They brought new guys in, and they believe that it will be. And but it's all got to work in tandem. It's the ultimate team game, as they say, and I know that's a cliche, but it really is. And but yeah, the offensive line's got to be a focal point. They know that. And I found it interesting yesterday that Pittman spent a little bit more time with the offensive line, and he's got a new coach there in Eric Mateos who's really good, very reputable, and so it sounds like both those guys have gone to work on that O-line, and so we'll see how it goes.
Well, and Mateos, he's kind of like Pittman, so, of course, Arkansas football goes 4-8. Baylor had a terrible offensive line last year, and they've had better under him. They've had all-conference guys, but they were horrid last year. So I think Mateos is kind of in that same thinking where he wants to bounce back. Different team, different players, and he's hoping to have a much better season for his position group, kind of like Pittman is overall with this team to this point.
I'm sure you're right.
Yeah, that's the area, because it's Sam Pittman's team, we expect to be really good. So that's the area that kind of let things down last year, no question. So.
All right, so Landon Jackson also was talking about just the fact that fans are coming in on Saturday. He's excited about that. Here was what he had to say, and Andrew Armstrong and Spence too.
I personally love it. I feel like that gives us a more realistic feel, I mean, it kind of gives us that urge for game day, because that's one thing I always disliked about spring ball is we're practicing, but we don't ever have nothing to look forward to.
And he mentioned the Saturdays, Chuck, being like three spring games. Like they have, with fans being in attendance, it's like, hey, we got not just the big spring game, but we got others that, with them being in the house, we got something to look forward to.
Oh, I think people will look forward to it. I think people are going to look forward to coming, and I think they'll be big Saturdays. Hey, McLarty Daniel, we talk about the hotline. McLarty Daniel, you're always going to get a great deal, but it's the customer experience that really separates them at McLarty Daniel. You're going to feel it when you walk in the door. They're going to welcome you. They're going to offer you a snack. You're going to get a great deal. I promise you that. But after the sale, there's going to be Saturday service. There's going to be complimentary rentals. There are going to be things that keep you moving, and that's what separates them. They've got 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, and you can always check out their selection at McLartyDaniel.com.
All right, when we return here on the Morning Rush, we got some SEC news. Also want to share this funny story I was reading about yesterday.
Listen online at hitthatline.com.
Thanks, Tommy. Enjoy your shirt.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Reed from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with
that have say it's worked very well.
So we did just get an email and an update in regards to Arkansas softball. Now, baseball is not playing today. We do know that the softball games have been moved up an hour each, originally slated at 4:45 and 7. Guys, if you're planning on going to Bogle Park today, they are at now 3:45 and 6 o'clock against South Alabama and St. Francis, Tommy.
Yeah, I'm looking at the app on my phone. It does show some rain that came through this morning, I guess, and I knew it moved in the overnight hours, and then maybe some more later today. So I guess softball's going to play, and baseball's already called it. So we'll just see what the weather does. So.
And we will keep you updated on halftime and Ruskin and Zach if there's other weather change. But Saturday and Sunday look good. I don't think that's going to get adjusted at all, but you just never know. Here in Fayetteville. We do know our friend Larry Rath of Rath Auto Resources always has a good deal for you as we welcome him in as we get close to the middle of March. Larry, how are you doing on this fabulous Friday?
Man, I'm doing great, Ty. Thanks for asking. Hope you are too. And you're just looking forward to a big weekend, particularly at Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale. We've got a great lineup of the 24 Mitsubishi Outlanders, the Eclipse Crosses. I saw some just come in last night. We're hustling to get those up to the front. Those are really popular. We've even got the nation's least expensive new car, the Mirage, and we've got a selection of those as well. So we've got a good inventory there. Rates start at 0%, folks, and we can save you some real money. We've also got some rebates, special incentives right now on the Outlander PHEV. If you haven't heard of that car, do a little research on that. It won all the awards. It is the smartest way to kind of get into that electric vehicle thing and still have gas power. You don't have to worry about whether you're going to get there or get home or not. And it's a terrific vehicle. Great looking, too. We've got one in that Rally Art package that's just fantastic. So go in and check that out. 64 miles a gallon, that's not nothing. And I think that's a pretty good reason to take a good look at that car. A real value brand with the 5-year, 60,000-mile full coverage warranty and the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. So I'm excited about those new Mitsubishis. And this is a great season for used cars as well. And we've got big inventories at both locations of road-ready certified vehicles with warranty. And we're really excited about the Road Ready Certified. That's a big deal for us this year. It's a big deal for our customers. It takes all the risk out of buying a used car, and it kind of puts a point on it. You can't buy a better used car than you're going to buy at Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith or Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale. So it's going to be a big weekend. We're trying to keep as much money in your pocket as you can. If you've got that tax refund and you'd like to keep some of it for other things, let us work on that for you. Get you in the car or truck that you want at the price and payment that you can afford. Let one of our guys help you with that this weekend at Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith, Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale, or check us out online, rathauto.com.
All right, that's Rath Auto Resources, Fort Smith, and in Springdale. Larry, enjoyed the weekend, and we'll catch up next week with you.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one. Folks, come and see us.
It's that time of year in college basketball where coaches are sick of the officials are sick of the coaches, players, coaches, the relationship. It's just dragging at this point. A lot of tournaments have started. Women's basketball tournaments are currently underway. Men's basketball, the smaller conferences are going, and hopefully Darrell Walker and the Trojans end up winning the OVC and getting that automatic qualifier to the NCAA tournament. But for Louisville women's basketball coach Jeff Walls, he needed something particular after their win, not their loss, mind you, a win over their opponent yesterday.
I haven't even really thought about tomorrow's game. I'm going to go to the bar first and have some Tito's and tonic and a few other things. And then hopefully it will make this game look a lot better when I watch it on film. Blurry, possibly.
Now, guys, keep in mind that coach won yesterday. They won. It was a gross game. It was 58-55, but he won, and he's still saying that after a win. They play Notre Dame today at 11 in Greensboro, but coaches are, again, it's the tail end of the season for a lot of them. Some are going postseason, some aren't. I'd be lying to you if I told you what Louisville's going to do this postseason, but evidently even a win, he was very displeased with his team's effort.
Yeah, and if he's got an 11 a.m. tip today, I hope whatever he was doing, he knocked it off fairly early.
Yeah. Well, you are right about the grind, and we've kind of come through the grind now, Ty, because now you can smell the finish line. The tournament's around the corner. You got the real postseason ahead of you. So you're either going to finish your season like Arkansas likely will, or you got great aspirations. I think the grind is over, Chuck.
Well, it is. Well, it still feels pretty grindy.
Depends on where you're at.
I'm going to go to Alabama later today. It still feels pretty grindy, but
you can be in Nashville next week though with me.
Well, here's the thing, and I just think this is the reality. The regular season in college basketball is a grind, and being good in the postseason is what makes it worthwhile. And when you're not going to be in the postseason, it makes it more grindy. To go back to that term there, and I think that's what has made it difficult. I can just tell you personally that it's a long season, man. You travel, you get home late at night. I mean, it's a long season. The postseason's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun.
Well, speaking of postseason, I'll say this before you go, Chuck. If Arkansas wins tomorrow, they will win 5 games in Nashville next week.
Good Lord. I hope you're right.
If they win in Tuscaloosa
really
tomorrow, they will win 5 games in Bridgestone Arena next week. And you and I will fly home or drive home. I will be intoxicated. You won't be because you're a professional, but I will celebrate another NCAA tournament. But if Arkansas wins in Coleman Coliseum tomorrow, they will win for the first time ever in the history of the SEC 5 games in 5 days.
I don't know how much cash this is I have in my hand right now, but I'll bet all of that against you head up on that. I don't know. There's a few $100s here.
Well, we'll see if they can.
Come on. You want it?
We'll see if they guard Mark Sears tomorrow. Then we'll figure it out after that. I'll take
even
that
money, Ty. Even money.
Might be coming. SEC update next.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
I love the show, guys. Listen to you every morning.
You're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
This is The Morning Rush.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
It's 2024. Let's go see what's new at the Golf Nut. Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke Woods and Irons. The world's first AI smart face designed using real player data. Cobra Dark Speed Woods and Irons. The fastest driver Cobra has ever built. Start the new year off with a lesson and feel more confident on the course. Contact Matt Brooks at 646-4430. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at GoForsgren.com. That's GoForsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Except we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Trusted pool experts and your source for backyard fun. Locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com.
So we know Arkansas and Alabama are playing in Coleman tomorrow at 11 o'clock on ESPN, so you're going to have a good national audience. The best game of the day, Tommy, is the 3 o'clock one, pitting the Tennessee Volunteers against the Kentucky Wildcats. Wildcats trying to continue on their run. Volunteers trying to lock up a number one, not just seed, but they're going in for that number one overall seed like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I can't imagine they don't already have a 1 seed pretty well sewn up. I can't imagine it would. I don't know what it'd take at this point with the season they've had. I think when you're a champion of probably the Big Ten and the SEC in the regular season, you're right in that mix more often than not. And I think Tennessee's right there.
Yeah, they are.
I think there'll be a 1 seed. There's still maybe some work to be done to be the number 1 overall seed on the bracket, but they're right there.
Yep, they've been really, really good this season when it comes to just producing and 4 straight games, 4 ranked opponents, Tommy, down the stretch, so including this Saturday against Kentucky.
Yeah, they got a chance to get their 15th SEC win. 15 of 18 is a pretty solid number with this. As good as this conference has been at the top, you've had Kentucky in and around the top 15 all year. Auburn's been really good at times. They're in the top 15 nearly the whole year. We know about Alabama. They've had some recent skids. Then you've had the surprise with South Carolina. There was a time where Georgia, who's down where Arkansas is at, though, they were really good at the beginning of conference play. And Florida, who's fallen out of the rankings, and they're They're still an 11-win SEC team. All those teams I just mentioned, Tennessee, Kentucky, Auburn, Alabama, South Carolina, Florida, I think are all safely in the tournament. Question is, does A&M have enough quad one wins? Does Mississippi State have a case to be made? I think those teams through Florida and maybe A&M are still somewhere in the mix.
A&M plays Ole Miss tomorrow at 1 o'clock. South Carolina gets Mississippi State. Florida at Vandy. Georgia at Auburn. And then Missouri at LSU. That rounds out your SEC basketball schedule for the weekend. Want to remind people for this weekend with an SEC team playing McNeese State, your Arkansas baseball team. No game today. You'll play 2 tomorrow. If you have Friday tickets, you'll get granted admission to Saturday's doubleheader. And, Tommy, they will do something with the Saturday ticket holders and at later point of the season, which has not just been announced yet.
Yeah, they may try to add another non-conference game. I don't know what the numbers are. I didn't look at the schedule enough to know if they've got all 56 games there, but maybe something's done in that regard with a midweek game that gets added. But I just, I don't say I hope it rains at this point because softball's still planning to play a doubleheader. But I just find it interesting that softball, we just talked about them moving up an hour, but baseball's just called it for the day. Yeah. So and the games don't last as long as softball. They can move through a doubleheader quicker today, but I just find that interesting that those are the decisions that have been made. But hey, Dave's pretty good with the weather after all these years. He knows what's right.
Last thing here in your SEC update before we go to the track and talk to our friend Lane Whitman at the Railbird 333. Landon Jackson is a stud. And he is back for another season. Part of the reason that he wanted to stay in Fayetteville is just play a little SEC football.
It was hard initially, but the more I thought on it, I knew where my head was at. Growing up from a young age, my goal was to always play SEC football, which now my goal is obviously to play in the NFL. But at a young age, I always grew up watching Arkansas, A&M, LSU, Bama, always wanting to play in the SEC. And I really just didn't feel right going out on a 4-8 season. So that was a big decision that played with me coming back, and I'm really glad I made that decision, and I'm ready to keep this year going.
That might have been your most important. I know Petrino was the most talked about, but, Tommy, that might have been your most important offseason acquisition of sort. The guy stayed on campus, but Landon Jackson coming back to Fayetteville.
Probably your best NFL prospect at this point as well on your team. So, yeah, I'd agree with you on that. All right, that's your SEC update. It's brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Across the state right now, temperatures are in the 50s. It's cloudy. We're expecting rain. Hey, don't let the winter weather blues get to you. It's the Beat the Weather Blues hot tub sale going on at both locations. Burton Pools and Spas are in Springdale and in Fort Smith. Right now, you can save up to $5,000 off on a hot spring spa. It's the world's best-selling brand. I've got one at my home. If you've got one, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, trust me, it's the brand you want. Spend time with your family in the new Serenity Series 6-person tubs. They're only $75.99, so you can warm up and say goodbye to the winter weather blues. It's a new hot tub for you and the family from Burton Pools and Spas. Again, they're in Springdale and in Fort Smith. They're always online at burtonpools.com. Hey, at Burton's, they don't just sell hot tubs. They build long-term relationships. Burton Pools and Spas, Springdale and in Fort Smith, and again online, burtonpools.com. Time to head to the track as we get ready for another weekend of racing. All got underway yesterday at Oakland. We welcome in Lane Whitman to the conversation now. It's brought to you by Brothers Roofing and Restoration. Got some Thursday racing in yesterday, Lane.
Yeah, Thursday racing, 4-day race weeks all the way through March, maybe the first week in April as well, as we head to the back half of the meet at Oakland.
Yeah, so going to be a fun weekend coming up. And the Azeri Stakes is coming up on Saturday. We got racing again today. And I know for those that are headed to the track today, I know some will come down and go to the horse races, then go over to Banco ZK Arena, maybe watch a high school game. The weather's on your mind and what the track conditions may be like for this weekend.
Well, for today, I've handicapped it for sloppy. And if the track is miraculously a different way, I might be blown out of the water, so to speak, there. But I think the track will be drying out tomorrow, and I think for sure on Sunday it'll be fast. It wouldn't shock me if it was maybe a little bit sticky at the start of the race tomorrow, and then dry out to be fast for maybe the back half of the card, if it's not fast all day for Saturday racing.
Yeah, we're looking at that time of the year where we start getting into some stakes races. We've had some big weekends as of late, but you look at this weekend, the Grade 2 Azeri Stakes coming up. This is a $400,000 purse, 4-year-olds and up, fillies and mares. It's the feature race tomorrow at Oaklawn.
Yeah, and this is the last local prep race for the Grade 1 Apple Blossom, $1.25 million race on April 13th. And Azeri, I believe, is the only horse that has won the Apple Blossom 3 times in her career. I believe that was in 2002 through 2004. The 2004 race was one that is talking about the heart of a champion. That horse was dead beat with 100 yards left in the race, and somehow got her nose down on the wire in one of the most thrilling big stakes races I've ever seen Oaklawn. As far as this edition of the Azeri tomorrow, really competitive 8-horse field. You have Hot and Sultry as the 2-1 morning line favorite from trainer Norm Cassie with Ricardo Santana riding. You have comparative 3-1 on the board for trainer Brad Cox. Manny Franco flying in to ride comparative. That's caught my eye when I was looking at things. 4-1, we have Saddle Up Jesse from trainer Brittany Russell with Hapian Toledo to ride. And 5-1, Bellamore from trainer Steve Asmussen with his son Keith riding. So that's half the field right there between 2-1 and 5-1. Should be a great race.
You know, you look at the number of days in the meet, we're pretty much just right at halfway, maybe just a little past halfway in the total meet. What do the standings look right now for the jockeys and the trainers here at Oaklawn?
Well, the leading jockey and the leading trainer, those things are pretty much wrapped up here. Christian Torres leads the way with 47 wins right now. The race for second is really a hot one, though, with Keith Asmussen with 28 wins, Francisco Arrieta 27 wins, Manny Escobar 26 wins, all stacked up behind Torres. And on the trainer standings, Keith Asmussen has just put this title to bed. He has 39 wins right now. Tied for second is Kenny McPeak and Robertino Diodoro with 18 each. So you could add their 18s together and still not have what Steve has at the top of the standings. Diodoro won that title last year, and it looked like Steve didn't like it very much, and he's putting distance between everybody this year.
Yeah, sounds like that's maybe an insurmountable lead at this point. All right, you said it's going to be sloppy today. That could mean for some value if you find the right one. You always give us a pick of the day on Fridays. You got any long shots or something that stands out today that we might cash a big ticket on?
Well, what I'm looking at today is there's something that I don't think I've done before. I'm going to give a pick in the 10th race and also an exacta. Race 10, number 8, Happy Gray, is 4-1 on the morning line for Team Asmussen, Steve training, Keith riding. Decent odds if they can hold at 4-1. There's also a horse in there from Brad Cox with leading rider Christian Torres riding, number 5, Mo running, and it's 3-1 on the morning line. So people like the Brad Cox horse a little bit more. I like the Asmussen horse a little more. One reason I like the Asmussen horse, Happy Gray, is he was running on the lead in this last race. Mo running was coming from behind. They ran against each other in their debut race last out. I'm going to take the horse that runs on the lead, especially on a sloppy track. He's running in clean air, if you want to use a NASCAR term, whereas Mo running might be coming from behind, getting mud thrown all over him. He did that last time and still got up. They finished a half length apart. I think that might be the case again here today in a field of 10 horses where 5 of them are first-time starters. 2 of the others are coming off 200-plus day layoffs. Give me the 2 horses here that I know that ran a couple weeks ago. They ran right next to each other. I think they're going to do that again today. I favor number 8, Happy Gray, to win the 10th race, but play an exacta 5 and 8. Maybe box those 2 together in case I'm wrong and the Brad Cox horse wins.
That way you can flip them around. Hey, good stuff, Lang. We look forward to a big weekend. I know a lot of people are listening right now making their way to Hot Springs. At the Railbird, 333, Facebook, X, on social media. You can get Lang's picks. Lang, good luck this weekend, and we'll see you at the track.
Yeah, I'm headed over there today. And also, one more thing for everybody. The infield will be closed this weekend. Hope that we'll have better weather next week and open back up.
All right, sounds good. Lane Whitman from Oaklawn giving us some updates at the Railbird 333. Each week, our Oaklawn update is brought to you by Brothers Roofing and Restoration. If you got roof damage to your home, maybe you've been working with a contractor that hadn't gotten the job done, or maybe your insurance company says, no, you don't need a roof. There's not enough damage, but everyone in your neighborhood, both your neighbors either side, have gotten new roofs. It's time to call Brothers Roofing and Restoration. 479-353-3877 is Brothers' direct number. Here's why you want to use Brother. A, he's a former Razorback, and he's an Arkansan, and he loves our state, and he loves the people of our state. B, he's been an insurance adjuster and a roofing contractor. So what does that mean for you? He knows both sides of the business, both sides of the equation, and can help you maximize your returns. And the third best reason, they use the best materials, the industry's best materials, and competitive pricing. Plus, get a free estimate, and Brother will personally inspect the job before it is completed. 479-353-3877. Call Brother Alexander with Brothers Roofing and Restoration. 479-353-3877 for Brothers Roofing.
All right, that's going to do it for us here on the Morning Rush. You want to listen to our conversation with Lane again or at any of our points this morning with Scott Tabor, Chuck Barrett, find it in the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. For Big Steve, for Tommy, and everyone else that joins us via the McLarty Daniel Hotline, I'm Ty Richardson. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully we don't have a bunch of rain here in Fayetteville.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1